All right, what's going on, everybody? We are live today on this Thursday talking some She Hulk episode 9, season 1 finale. Might be more to come. We'll discuss that. And of course, man, if you're a Marvel fan, man, all the world's ending, man. Marvel's falling apart, delays upon delays, Blade. Fantastic Four, Deadpool, Avengers. I mean, what's the world coming to, man? We'll discuss that as well, and so many more things that we have on the docket for you all. But hey, shout out to every single one of you all joining us on this beautiful Thursday. We in the middle of the spooky season. I saw a very very interesting film last night that you guys can check out my review for Halloween Ends and a couple more other reviews I have lined up for you guys in the coming days. But today we're talking all things Marvel, and I'm so excited to be back with you all for our finale. It's sad, man. It's been a bitter ending to end these streams, but of course we got something to discuss as far as how things ended for the show. Is it the best finale? Is it the worst? We'll discuss that and many more things. But again, shout out to you all. Give the video a thumbs up if you can. It'd be much appreciated. Share the review or share this video. And of course, this is live, y'all. So leave your live comments. What you think about the finale? What do you think about these topics we're going to be discussing a little bit? Let us know in the live chat. And everyone watching the replay, if you can do the same, much appreciated. So with that being said, one of my main co-hosts is running a little bit late, but he'll be joining us here in a little bit. But I got a returning guest who I had such a good time chopping it up with a couple weeks ago with Marvel. Hell, we talk Star Wars, we talk so many things, and we're here to discuss this finale and many more things today. I'm talking about my man from Bad Coyote. What's going on, man?
How's it going, Elliot? Thanks for having me again. It's great to be on.
Yes, sir, man. Like we talked off screen, man. I had such a good conversation with you a couple weeks ago. So I definitely wanted to bring you back to talk about this finale and talk about some Marvel news, man.
I'm down for it. Let's do it.
Awesome, man. Well, hey, Coyote, before we get into today's topics, man, why don't you just introduce yourself to the people, let them know who you are and where they can find your awesome content.
Perfect. Thanks, man. Hello, everyone. I am Bad Cuddy Funky, aka Sergio. I've got a regular 9 to 5 where I work as a photojournalist. I do conduct interviews. I shoot and edit stuff with reporters for a news network. But my main thing I do is I like to talk geek stuff. So I talk Star Wars, DC, Marvel, everything. I have a podcast with the same name called Bad Cody Funky. I talk about video games and stuff like that with my with my friends and my boys on the panel there over on Twitch with the same name. So every Thursday around 9 p.m. Eastern at New York time, we talk about everything here. Tonight we're gonna be talking about Andor later on the channel. But I've been watching Elliot for a while. I've been watching this channel for a while. Been in the comment section, and yeah, it was nice enough to bring me on. We had a great conversation last time, so I'm ready to get it.
Yes, sir, man. I'm very, very excited to talk to you again today, man. And definitely, guys, his links and everything, I'm going to be leaving that in the description of this video once it's all uploaded by the time we get to the end. So definitely subscribe, check out his content. You will not be disappointed. So, yeah, man, last time we spoke, we talked about Blade, right? And
Yeah.
we mentioned, man, there's some, this film is inevitably going to get delayed. We kind of figured that, but it's official, man. And kind of jump into the first topic here. And again, guys, shout out to every single one of y'all. Like, share, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And shout out to everyone that's joining us live. My man Kenny coming in. We will be talking about that She-Hulk ending in a bit here. Deadpool will be proud. Yes, the fourth wall breaking this episode, Coyote, and everyone in the chat. Pretty superb, pretty superb. But we'll get to
Incredible
that
stuff.
here in a second. But let's pivot over to our first topic as I bring our things up here. Coyote, man. Is it the end? Is this the end of Marvel as we know it, man? If you all do not know, but in the last few days, a lot of news dropped, y'all. And that was Marvel has switched and pivot and moved some things. Some films were delayed. Number one, we talked about Blade. Obviously, that film lost its director. They're doing a rewrite, it seems like, on the script, which makes a lot of sense considering that a lot of the things out there that was said was the script's not looking good, not a lot of action. Mahershala Ali's not happy. So that's understandable. That got delayed till September 6th of 2024. So a full year. We'll discuss that. And then obviously everything else got affected. Deadpool 3 got pushed back to November, just a couple months there. We've had the movement of Fantastic Four from November to February. And then the big one, Avengers, got pushed back to 2026, a whole year from when the first Kang Dynasty will be coming out. So my question for you, Coyote, good thing, bad thing, has the world come to an end? Marvel is just losing its marbles.
I think it's a good thing because, as we know from one of the last things we discussed on Blade, is that there's a report inside of Hollywood that Kevin Feige is spread thin. And I think it's because of the nature of the Marvel manufacturing machine. As much as we love these stories, these properties, and these characters, there's way too much happening way too close to each other. So I think this
Right.
sort of restructuring is good and these delays are good. Yes, I know there are some people who can't wait to get to the theater for the next showing or tune into Disney Plus for the next big thing. But I
Mhm.
think at the same time, we have to kind of look at this at like it's art, right? It's something that needs to be well crafted. And how do you do that? You take your time doing it. I think there is way too much happening with Marvel at every single turn, right? Even within the properties of Marvel, right? Like inside of a movie, inside of a TV show, here's the next product coming up. Here's the tease for the next thing. And as we talk about She-Hulk, they kind of goes into that. But yeah, man, I think these dates being pushed back are good. I see a lot of backlash online with people saying, hey, like I want my Marvel now. I got my popcorn ready. I made my plans. I've already called out of work for certain dates. Like people already put in
Yeah.
time for
Yep.
certain dates
Yeah, man.
already, and now like their schedules are messed up. I'm sorry that you're gonna have to rearrange and talk to your management about it,
Right.
but
They
man,
inconvenience you. Marvel's so sorry to inconvenience your next 6 years. Yeah.
so sorry to inconvenience you
No.
and for you to interrupt your vacation time, but man, I
Right.
really do think that this is good because we need more time in between all of these things for each project to be
Mhm.
better. Because what's been happening, and we see it with like the visual effects artists, all the visual effects house have people stressed, quitting jobs, losing hair, like not seeing their families, sleeping at the studios. It's crazy, and all because the Marvel machine's like, hey, we got this product, we got this, we got a movie, then we got another movie after that, then we got a TV show, and it's way too much. So I don't see a downside to this.
Listen, this is why I have you on here, Coyote. I think we're on the same wavelength here. I couldn't have said it better myself. I made a little short video actually yesterday, kind of expressing a lot of your sentiments. Number one, the Blade thing, I will admit that sucks because we talked about it a couple weeks ago. You guys announced this project 3 years ago, 2019, I believe, was the last big Comic Con before the pandemic hit, and you would have thought between then and now they would have been ironing out the kinks of the script, making sure the director, producers, writers, Kevin Feige, everyone was on the same page. But lo and behold, they weren't. So that one, I will admit, does step, all pun intended, stab me in the heart there, as they do with the vampire. So I am upset about that, but I am happy that they didn't rush the November of next year release date. They're pushing it back a year, reconfigure things, recalibrate get a new director, get a new script. So I'm happy with that. Everything else, like you said, Coyote, everything else is fine. I mean, Deadpool literally moved 2 months. That's fine with me. More time for
Yeah,
visual effects, more time for story. All that stuff to me is fine. Fantastic Four, same thing, was supposed to be, I believe, November. They got pushed to February. We're talking again another 3.5 months. So those are perfectly fine. I'm okay with those projects. And then when it comes to the big one, the Avengers film, I couldn't be happier. Listen, when they announced that Avengers Kang Dynasty was coming out in May in 2025 and the next one's coming out in November, 6 months, I'm like, yo, that's there's no way that is going to stick as release date, because why would they eat into their own pockets? Why rush an Avengers, two Avengers in 1 year? I know there were people that was happy, like, this is incredible, we're going to lose our minds. But go back to Infinity War, go back to Endgame. That year that we had to wait and sit and theorize and predict things and get excited and hyped, and obviously there's more projects in between that leading up into those films. That's what you need, man. So I was so happy that they pushed Secret Wars back, and we know that film is going to be, well, we don't know, but we assume that it's going to be one of the, if not the biggest film that they have ever made, with cameos and other characters and so on and so forth. So I couldn't have been happier for those pushbacks. And then last but not least, as you mentioned, we've been talking about it for the past probably year and a half. Visual effects haven't been looking that great. We talked about She-Hulk coming out of the gate looking a little wonky in her first trailer in some of these episodes. We talk about how some of the Doctor Strange visual effects weren't as clean. What was some other project? Thor Love and Thunder. Some of the visual effects you can tell were incomplete. So like you said, this gives the visual effects team a time to breathe, to really kind of iron out all the details, give us the visual effects that we know and have come to love with Marvel. So, Cody, like I said, man, I think we're pretty much on the same page with, I think this is a positive thing to be said, but also not neglecting that it is kind of charted territory with Blade, with them pushing things back and losing director, but everything else is kind of part of course, if you ask me.
yeah, and I think people need to realize that. Like, I think we've gotten used to all these movies coming out and TV shows coming out so soon, so we always have some sort of
Yep.
Marvel property to sort of consume. But you got to
Hmm.
remember, there was a time where movies took time, where
Yeah.
things took time, and you get a better product out of it. I mean, or Love and Thunder. Say you want about like I guess the story in general, but the visuals, man. I mean, there was so like even Taika Waititi himself, the director. I
Yeah.
forget which
They did
which
that Variety Fair with him
yeah,
and
you already
Tessa
know what I was going
Thompson.
to reference.
Mhm.
Already know where Taika Waititi was like, does this CG not look done to you? Does this look kind of bad?
Yeah,
And Tessa Thompson's like, yeah, that does look kind
it
of.
was a little
And
off,
then
yeah.
meanwhile, the visual effects artists who were sleeping under their desk trying to get it done, were just like, come on,
Thank
man,
you. Yeah,
come on.
thank you so much. Yeah.
Yeah, come on. You're supposed to be the boss and you're spitting on us.
Yeah.
Come on, man. But yeah, I do think Marvel needs to kind of chill a little bit, take some time to make their properties and don't just spit it out like a manufacturing thing. And that's kind of why the Disney Plus shows have been seeing the same format and the same follies, with the short
Yep.
episodes, like filler episodes in between and everything in the finale just coming into a rush. I mean, look at Loki. There was like a 15 to 20 minute exposition about I am who I am and there's more of me coming and stuff and things. And there's a fight. Okay, don't fight. Anyway, here's a whole thing that's going to happen now. And I was like, wait a minute,
Yeah.
why don't you show that to us in 2 episodes instead of just one?
Yep.
It's
Couldn't
it's crazy.
I couldn't agree with you more, man. And then one more thing before we get into the She-Hulk discussion, I have it pulled up on the screen now as far as this the new slate. So if you will notice, Coyote and everyone in chat, I'm going to highlight this film here, The Marvels. So that comes out next July 28th of 2023. And then you all will notice the next big film or film in general for Marvel is almost 10 months later. Now, as you just mentioned, Coyote, we're going to have TV shows. It's going to be slotted in there between now and then, or between those two release dates. Probably, I would imagine, at least 4 shows, if I'm being honest with you, with the way that they put out things. And plus, two shows like Echo and a couple more grounded superheroes don't need all the visual effects. So we're going to probably get about at least 2 to 3 shows between the Marvels and Captain America 4. I'm happy with that 10-month gap, if I'm being honest with you, Coyote, because when they showed that slate of phase 5 and mostly phase 5, only phase 6 was 3 projects. But when they showed that phase 5, it was like literally project on project. It was literally maybe 2 months between a movie and a show, and then we would get a movie and a show. So it was, if they would have stuck to that, that would have been pretty chaotic. It would have been very stressful for not only the fans to keep it up with this, that, and the other. Of course, we love it, but it's just like, you got to let these projects breathe. You got to build that excitement again. So I am so happy that we're getting about a 10-month difference between films, between the Marvels and Captain America 4. Are we still on the same page, Cody, or do you feel like that gap is maybe a little bit too much time between films?
No, I think that gap is good, especially because a 2 month gap means that all these properties are being made around the same time, kind of like a
Right.
factory. So
Mm-hmm.
if you
Kind of like
increase that
today's
gap,
episode, right? We saw a little bit behind the scenes of
yeah, yeah, exactly, yeah. So if you increase that gap, that kind of means that you can make a product, release it, and then sort of learn about what's going to happen. And which we didn't get with these all these Disney Plus shows that dropped with WandaVision, with Loki, with all the stuff we've had so far, like Falcon Winter Soldier, because they've all were made around the same time. I mean, you had Amon Vanelli, Miss Marvel, talking about how she was watching either Loki or WandaVision as they were making her shows. So
yeah.
they're all being made around this. So they didn't have time to learn what works, what didn't work, what the fans' reaction is, and you just pump everything out all at one time. So increasing this time, I think they can really take to look at like the audience reaction, the fans' reaction, what track, what didn't track. Okay, maybe we can tweak something, or maybe something happened in a story previously. Okay, we need to incorporate that. I mean, I know they sort of plan that stuff out, but things always happen on the fly, right? Kevin Feige might see daily of, okay, that didn't work. Let's change this. And he has to go over the next project. Hey, by the way, we changed something in the project before you guys. So now we got to, so now when you increase that time, Kevin Feige has some breathing room to be like, okay, I changed something in the previous project. You guys are up next. Here's what you got to do to kind of acclimate to that. So hopefully that'll give him some time to make some better changes here. But yeah, the Marvel machine has been pumping these things out, and now all of it's good. Some of it's been suffering. The fans are starting to notice, and people who don't even watch these things, because now you have a general audience people coming in who are now noticing, oh, well, this is the Marvel stuff you guys like this thing's kind of not that good. And you're like, no. This one's kind of
go watch phase 3. Go watch.
Yeah. You're like, no, wait. You try to start like to defend it. Yeah.
I couldn't agree with you more, man. This is giving projects more time. Like you said, recalibrate some things, maybe add in some storylines, getting things together. This is kind of the old regime as far as we used to get 2 to 3 films. Now we're getting 6 to 7 plus TV shows. So I'm glad that they're going to have that moment to recalibrate, step it back, look at the drawing board, and get the continuity, get the flow of things going. Because we talked about it a couple weeks ago. Phase 4, even though I really enjoy Phase 4, I have been really enjoying it. There's been some stinkers, some up and down. Some of the shows haven't worked, but for the most part, we kind of always assumed after Endgame that Phase 4 was going to be that Phase 1 again, right? We got to reestablish these heroes. We got to get new heroes. We got to reestablish the world after the blip. So a lot of the stuff has felt a little chaotic, a little disconnected. We're in the multiverse, so it kind of adds to that. But at the same time, we know behind the scenes that there were some chaos going on, not just in front of the screen. So I'm glad that we got these delays. We have these films. It's going to have more time to breathe, and I'm hoping for some great products, man. Any final words with this topic before we get into She-Hulk?
I'm curious, what hasn't worked for you?
On a film perspective, Black Widow to me is the worst film of Phase 4. Not even just because it was 7 years too late, but narratively speaking, the film just didn't work for me on a lot of levels. It just felt like it really set up Yelena more so. It felt more like a Yelena introduction than it was a goodbye to Natasha. And I found that to be very disappointing because I'm a Natasha Romanoff fan. I think that character is completely used in the within the franchise. Of course, we got an Avenger. She was great in Winter Soldier, great in Civil War, but she needed more. So I wasn't a fan of that film, and I honestly haven't revisited because I'm just not a fan of the narrative. And I like Yelena. I like David Harbour. I like Natasha in the film, but the film as a whole to me, bad. I'm not a fan of that. Other movies, I'm a fan of Eternals. I'm one of the few people that love Eternals. I think it's one of the most smart, like thought-provoking films that Marvel's kind of made, and I really enjoy that narrative and the performances. I'm a horror fan, so I enjoyed me some Doctor Strange, knowing that there were some shortcomings in some of the story and how things move so quickly and whatnot. But I really enjoyed the Sam Raimi isms. Of course, Spider-Man No Way Home is a home run. And Thor, Love and Thunder, I rewatched it a couple days ago. I think I gave it a 3.5 when I first saw it.
Wow.
That's probably come down to maybe a 2.5.
Is it a 3 out of 10 or a 3 out of 5?
I do the 5. So yeah, 3 out of 10, maybe 2.5 out of it. It's not that good. As Morris highlighting here, it's a piece of what. So as far as that goes, that's my kind of film slate. And as far as TV goes, the only shows that I think kind of missed the mark, I did not like Hawkeye, especially the finale. And She-Hulk, we talked about it. I've enjoyed it, but it's been kind of inconsistent. But everything else I've been pretty satisfied with, to loving being Loki and WandaVision, and satisfied being Falcon and Winter Soldier. What If I had fun with. I really enjoyed the Miss Marvel show, even though I thought that the superhero stuff was the weakest element of the show. And Moon Knight was interesting, great performance. I just wish it had more Moon Knight. But
yeah, man.
What about you, man? Just curious.
Wild. Wild how Moon Knight was. I mean, it was a great. If you want to think about,
Skylar, I love the Eternals.
Yeah, if you want to think about someone who's really into like art house films and like character studies and something like that, Moon Knight was pretty good. But as a superhero film, as a Marvel film, we barely got the hero himself, and I thought that was a very interesting move. I mean, like, were they hoping for a season 2? I mean, Kevin Feige said it was a limited series. I agree with you on Black Widow, right? We barely got David Harbour like doing his thing. The structure of it was kind of odd. I thought it was good for what it was as a general movie.
Oh my goodness.
Right. My boy Casey, like Taskmaster is one of his favorite characters, and it was just a travesty. And not because of the gender thing, but because of the story,
just how they handled the character overall.
Yeah. It's because of like the character overall. And instead of having super like reflexes and like muscle memorization, it was like, oh, here's like a Matrix disc. Here's an AOL disc that you get for free. Put it in the back of your head, and now you know all the like what? That's crazy. We're in the world of Marvel, not some other dystopian future like Blade Runner thing. I thought that was wild. Eternals, I really liked production wise. I thought it was more mature. I thought the adults are in the room right now. Visually, I thought it was great. What's the speech's name? Lakari. I really liked that character.
Dude, that whole I'm a big listen, y'all. Your boy's an Eternals fan. I would die on that hill. Eternals is a great film, Mara. I don't care. It's not a nap. The film is amazing. But I'm sorry, go ahead,
Yeah, no, it's all good. The way they filmed the speed was great. No slowdown, showing the pure speed. The
Yep.
camera angles of like when she was running and when she was fighting, especially when she was fighting Old Bo in the end. I thought that was fantastic. She was
Minari
serving like she was
versus
waiting.
what
You
was the
know,
Superman? I can't think of his
yeah,
name right
Superman
now, but yeah,
character.
it was
Yeah,
so great.
waiting
Yeah.
to serve him up. Wait,
Yep.
it was so great. I love that. Falcon and Winter Soldier, I enjoyed. I thought that was one of the better ones. Until they reveal the Isaiah Bradley character, then I thought, man, I want to see that. That story
Yes.
sounds
Yeah,
far more
pretty cool.
interesting than what I'm watching right now.
Yeah.
He was talking about how like he took off the Winter Soldier's arm
Took
in
his
Korea.
arm. Come on, man. You gotta give us
Yo,
that. We got to see that in the
what?
What If series, season 2 of What If. Give us that fight. We got to see it, or give it to us in live
Yes.
action.
I was like, I want to see that. I was like, why'd you have to bring that up? Because now I want to see that. Now everything else seems so kind of, you know what I mean? I
Yeah.
want to
Yeah.
see that, especially the whole story of how, like his country kind of threw him away, like
Yep.
kept it as an experiment, like, didn't put him on a poster, because of reasons. And here comes, Captain America, old blonde hair, blue eyes, and
Yeah.
he was lauded and applauded and paraded while Isaiah Bradley was in the shadows. But man, I do think a lot of Phase 4 it did seem directionless. And it's because a lot of it was made at the same time.
Yeah.
Like we were so used to the Infinity Saga, we had Thanos and everything go on. Shang-Chi, I enjoyed. I thought it was good.
Yeah. I forgot about that. Really, yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, how can I forget? That's one of my favorites. Actually, yeah. I love Shang-Chi.
Yeah,
Watched it the other
Shang-Chi,
night, actually.
I thought was really powerful. I wish they kept it more grounded, meaning the last and final act where, spoilers if you haven't seen it already, that big deal, like they went super Marvel. They went to Marvel, the big CGI
Yeah,
Avatar
that third
scene where there's
act.
like big demon
Dragons and
dragon.
yeah. A
Yeah,
little over
I
the
felt
top.
the final boss should have been his father. She should have been the
Mhm.
Mandarin. I thought like a final
Mhm.
confrontation with that would have been great.
Yep.
Like, I didn't care for Awkwafina's character. That's whatever.
Katie. Yeah.
Yeah, it just didn't make any sense for her character to be there. It's kind of like in Man of Steel when when Fiora all like it goes up to Amy Adams' character and she was just like, General Zod wants that woman to come along with us too. I'm like, but that makes no sense in the story.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
it's
She's a hero all of a sudden.
yeah, all of a sudden, General Zod cares about this human being, even though he didn't acknowledge her, talk to her, whatever. It's just like
Yeah.
because the script says so.
Yep.
I hate in any sort of project when the script says so, something needs to happen or
Right.
whatever. Yeah, but the other properties, Hawkeye, I it's funny. Okay, so man, Haley Steinfeld I thought was good. A lot of people will give me a lot of crap for the Haley Steinfeld thing. I thought Haley Steinfeld was good.
Very
I
entertaining.
saw her as Kate Bishop. I wish they rounded out her character more. They gave us more episodes, but I liked her in the role. The show itself, that was okay. That's all right. But I thought she was good for the character.
And Elena coming through was great.
Yelena was great. I mean, perfect casting for Yelena.
This is where
Perfect
Hawkeye
casting
fell for me, Coyote, and everyone in the chat. The disrespect to this man here.
Bro. Daredevil had a hard time with this
3
man.
seasons, Coyote. It took my man 3 seasons
And here
to
comes Kate
finally
Bishop.
defeat him. Kate Bishop come in here. Wham, bam. Thank you, man. Go sit down. Sunned him, man. Sunned Kingpin.
My brain exploded where they accidentally just like I forget what it's called, but it's what's one of those somebody in chat might know those contraptions where you roll a ball and then it hits a hammer and then it goes out and then something happens at the end. Like in the Looney Tunes cartoons where it's like a ball is on a thing, hits another thing, something else happens. The dun 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 dun. It was like that. It was the most Looney Tunes thing I ever saw with Kate Bishop defeating Kingpin. I was like,
you are
not.
At? Where my man Brandon at? You hear that, Brandon? The disrespecting Kingpin. I'll never forgive him. Never.
Absolutely outraged. I couldn't believe it. It's like you can make her good without making her accidentally
without
OP.
dumbing down Kingpin.
Yeah, like it's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
Crazy.
And the Thor Love and Thunder was just pure trash. I don't care. Thor Love and Thunder was pure trash. Just terrible movie. Absolutely dog water. Just absolute dog water. I don't care. I won't say too more than that. Love Christian Bale. Love that Gore the God Butcher killed one god on screen, and then Taika Waititi was going for the Guinness Book of World Records for the most jokes told within a minute because it kept firing off. And I had a huge argument with one of my boys about, him saying it's a whole sad clown thing where, the jokes are there to kind of like go through all the hardship, but I don't think it was presented that well or that deep. I think Taika was just taking the piss out of it. But Phase 4, man, the best thing to come out of it, I think, is What If. The What If stories
It was fun, man. Especially that Ultron episode, the Hank Pym
Yes.
serial killer episode, the zombie episode. There
Yes.
was some bangers in there, man. Killmonger's episode.
Oh, Kim, absolutely incredible. The Doctor Strange episode,
Oh, how can I forget? That's
to
probably
me,
the best
better
one.
than the Multiverse of Madness movie. I think
I wouldn't
the
argue
acting
with
was
you.
top notch. The script was better. The deliverance
Yeah.
was better. The sad story of him just going through the motions of losing his love over and over and over again, just being doomed to this reality and doomed to this eventuality, and then just being like caught in this prism in the end. I thought was fantastic.
I agree, man. I agree. Yeah. I mean, again, we can go for hours, guys, talking about MCU stuff. But I got my man in the back room who is here to let us know, number one, if he got a chance to see Werewolf by Night, and number two, he gave us one of the best stories that I've ever heard. And I wonder if he's had his round two with Zazie Beetz. I'm talking about my man Chris from Taste Take. What's going on, man?
I didn't hate to come in with two sets of bad news, but here I am. That's crazy.
What's going on, man?
What's up, man? I'm out here parting my tardiness, man. You know how it is.
No worries, man. Like I said, you got dates with Zazie Beetz. You out here, making the world a better place, man. So I understand. And by the way, Chris, this is Coyote. This is Chris, man.
Coyote, what's good, my guy? Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, man. Like your takes, the other stream, you were giving out some good takes, man.
With the fire, man.
Oh, respect. Thank you.
Definitely, man. Well, Chris, before we jump to you or have you in this conversation and get into the She-Hulk discussion, why don't you introduce yourself, man, and let the people know where they can find you?
All right. I'm going to be brief. What's up? I'm Chris Tate, representing Tate's Take. If you guys are into movie reviews, TV reviews, I try to just break it down, give you some background of the content, and just let you know if it's worth checking out. So if you're into that stuff, my information is below somewhere. But if you're ready to follow me and listen to my stuff and watch my stuff, shout out to y'all. Y'all are the real MVP. So let's get back to Marvel.
Yes, sir. Well, speaking of, I just got to ask you right off the bat, Chris. You said it was disappointing. Did you not see Werewolf by Night, or did you not enjoy it? Which one was it, my friend?
Oh, my disappointing news was that I did not see it, but everyone is saying that it's very good, so I know that it's going to be good.
Yes. Oh, and by the way,
my homework this weekend.
That's my homework. Did you see Werewolf by Night by chance?
I have not had a chance to watch it yet. I was busy watching Andor, but it is on my list. I did hit play. I did start it, and then I had to go to my niece's birthday party, which is great.
Yeah, it's fire. It's fire. Yeah. It might be. We just talked about Phase 4. That might be the best project of Phase 4.
Wow.
Minus the start, the Shang-Chi or Spider-Man. I think it's probably my third favorite It might be my favorite. I don't know, man. It was, creatively speaking, it was beautifully done. But anyway, Chris, me and Coyote been chopping it up, man, in the last almost 30 minutes about. There's been a bunch of delays, Chris. Blade obviously got delayed a year. The Avengers got delayed a year. Fantastic Four and Daredevil got pushed back just a few months. But just kind of curious, Chris, on if you feel what the question I posed to everyone in the chat and me and Coyote were talking about is the world falling apart, man? Is Marvel losing their marbles? Is it all just hell running over there, man? Your thoughts on the announcements?
The world is definitely not falling apart. I mean, after COVID, like, I could deal with a break because like we had nothing for a long time for real. Yeah. And we got a lot this year. Whether I know y'all don't like it, pretty much none of it. But it was a lot of stuff. So like I can handle these delays. And I was looking at the dates that it was pushing back. And it was, of course, it's not cool, but it's nothing crazy. Like a couple months I can handle. Like that stuff is already far away. So I was already like 2024, that's crazy.
Exactly.
But the delays don't seem too crazy. Because I thought that when I put in the chat about the Blade news, but I don't think it had a date for when they push it because it just said push. So I'm like, damn, it could be any time. It could be just on hold on the shelf. Yeah. But it got dates, so like I'm okay with it. I'm not ready to run around like the world is ending. But and if it makes a better project, then do your thing. Like that's
100%, 100%. Couldn't agree with you more, man. You're definitely on the same page as us. Give time for the projects to work, scripts, VFX, all that stuff was going to be great. So. We were kind of pivoting over, and I guess we'll save this towards the end as far as ranking these MCU shows. So we're going to be talking about She-Hulk, but I guess just before we get into She-Hulk, Chris, the general conversation we're having is so far, and we're wrapping up Phase 4 in a couple of weeks with Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. Phase 4, as bad as people are saying it to be, is it one of your favorites, least favorites? Where are you at with Phase 4? And then obviously we'll get into She-Hulk after.
She-Hulk is probably, without me looking at every little phase, breaking it down, it's probably the worst phase. Because I don't think, I mean, like, of course, Black Panther is not out yet, and that might be crazy.
Right.
But to me, what I always get from, I think, every other phase was like a haymaker like this. Stop what you're doing and go watch this. I don't think they have that. Well, maybe Spider-Man.
Spider-Man was a groundbreaking,
but that's it,
earth-shattering,
But that's it, and that was, on the heels of another studio. So with Spider-Man is great. Spider-Man can hang with a lot of those other movies and other phases. But besides that, for a whole phase, and I'm talking about one thing, it's not enough.
Yeah, we didn't get an Avengers film in Phase 4.
Yeah, I know. I need that.
Yeah,
I'm not going to be like, it's whack. It's just easily the wackest, which by definition you could say it. Maybe it's whack, but it's like they're just a victim of their own success. And then like for them to end it with Wakanda Forever, maybe we're all like, damn, that shit is crazy. Like, because it could be like when Heath Ledger passed, and then everyone was like, we wanted to see more of him, and then we get Dark Knight Rises, and everybody's like, damn, that shit held up. Like they could do that. If their movie can hang like Dark Knight Rises hangs with Dark Knight, then I think we have a nice win here.
It's a tall order. That's a lead actor versus I definitely.
Come on, don't do that. Joker was the lead. We came for Joker. We came for Joker. But if they can do that, if Black Panther can do that, then it's like, okay, Phase 4. Because like no one's gonna remember all the little misses that they had. But if it ends on a high with that, especially for like the culture, then we'll be like, Phase 4, not bad.
Well said, man. And I'll be honest with you, Chris, I might make a separate video, another discussion for another day, but I would put, this might be blasphemy to say, I would put Phase 4 over Phase 1, for being honest with y'all.
Yeah, that's blasphemy.
What did Phase 1 end with?
Avengers, which, by the way, man, this might be
if I could kick you out of your own chat.
Avengers 1.
If I could ban you out of your own show, man.
Yeah.
If we go project for project, and again, maybe this is another video for another day, and then maybe it's today. Spider-Man.
You just said you hated all of it.
No, I didn't say I hated all of Phase 4. I see it. The only ones I said I didn't like was Hawkeye and Black Widow, pretty much. And Thor Ragnarok or Thor Love and Thunder wasn't all that great. But I would argue you put up.
But you didn't like Doctor Strange.
I love the horror elements, which was a lot of the
breaking down elements.
We gotta look at it, man. I don't know, man. I'm obviously Phase 4 has a lot more projects to choose from.
Yeah, we could do a breakdown of that. We could do a breakdown of that
one day. But hey, and maybe when we do it,
plus there's no shows too.
Exactly. Which I will put low key. Over Thor. Like as far as the whole Loki series, I will put that over Thor. Yeah, the first film.
The first one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about that.
That's a hot take.
Have you watched the first Thor recently? It kind of holds
I
up.
actually did watch the first Thor. I don't know why I did.
Like the cinematic feel of the first Thor, I think it holds strong today. There was definitely like an interesting eye the director had as someone who like works behind the camera and in production. Like I really like some of the production elements there. I thought it was a lot more thoughtful than the Thor movies we're getting now, where you don't really get these like dynamic angles. You don't get these interesting like sweeping views, or you don't get like the level of acting, right? You just have like Chris Hemsworth just walking on, being like, "Hey, what's going on? What's going on? I'm dumb. I'm stupid. Hey, hello." It's like a Rick and Morty sketch. Everything's like a Rick and Morty sketch. It's like it's everything is so meta. But yeah, that's wild to put some of these things over Phase 1. Phase 1 is goated.
We'll have to revisit that. We'll have to put it in there. But speaking of Phase 4, one of the most, I don't know, weird projects of this phase so far has been She-Hulk, for better or for worse. For better, Tatiana Maslany, another home run casting for Marvel. For better, we got some really good comedic beats. For better, we got Daredevil. For better, we have probably the best version of the Hulk that I've seen in a very long time, as far as kind of he fits within the tone that they were kind of going for. But for worse, visual effects, not all the jokes landing, some of the episodes feeling like complete waste of time, and the show kind of feeling lost. But with all that being said, it's led us to this 9th episode. I want to start with you, Chris. General opinions on the 9th episode. Did it stick the landing? Is it one of the best or worst finales that we've gotten so far?
Just so interesting. And because it's so different, I have to give it points. And like every time I come on the live, I say this episode was funny or cool, but means nothing. And the finale is the exact same way. And I'd have to give it so much props for even trying to do this weird shit, like going like the fourth wall and all that. And I'm like, they're just going for it. And I'm like, with the low expectation that people had coming into this show, I guess, and then just coming up with this, and like I know someone in the writing room was like, fuck it, let's just try this. And then someone probably said, no, we can't. We have a formula here at the MCU. We cannot do that. And then they were like, no, we're doing this. So for that, I give
we
them.
saw the writing rooms today. We see what it looks like. Yeah,
literally, yeah. So for that, I give them a lot of credit. So like, I just don't want to put like so much stake in it. Like like for what this show has been all whatever season long, like this ending in comparison to the rest, I would say this is a thumbs up ending compared to what we had. Like we've seen it, and like a lot of the shows that we maybe the world likes better, we get to the finale and we're like, the finale didn't stick the landing. Like we don't like that ending. For this, it's just like we're just riding this wave, and then the ending was just this crazy fucking jumbo thing of
Matrix,
all this. Yeah.
Truman
so I'm
show.
like,
yeah,
okay, for this type of show, this was the type of finale that I didn't even expect, but I'm like, yes, somehow that makes sense.
Tossing to you, Coyote. How we feel about this finale, man? Is it the trope of like Marvel again? And I think one thing about all the shows, besides my favorite Loki, I thought that was the best finale. But besides that, everything else has been kind of out of character. It feels like they forced the MCU into the finales. How did you feel? Excuse me. How did you feel about this one? Was it bad? Was it good? General opinion.
In general, not going into any specifics yet, I thought it was interesting because I wildly did not expect them to go where they went. So for that, they had my attention, and I was, you know how you're slouching, you're just, you're just watching something, and then when something crazy happens, you kind of lean forward a little bit. And you're like, now you have my attention. This is interesting. And then it just kept
we just
going.
go through the motions so much. We're just going through the motion, We got to do this review, we got to do this live, and then we're like, because I literally was like, wait, is she in the damn? She in the damn home screen? So sorry, go back.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. I had the same feeling because at first it kind of seemed formulaic, right? And then it's like, oh, that's what they were doing. That's where they were going this whole time. A little bait and switch. And they're just like Dave Chappelle's like, gotcha. And I really appreciate that too, and just the fact that they were commenting on that. So in general, I thought it was really interesting. I have no other way to put it other than it was very bold to do that, because that could have been a huge miss. They swung for it. It could have been a miss. It could have been a really bad miss, but it's got a lot of people talking about it right now. It's trending right now all over it, and even people who don't even watch the show are hearing about what happened, and now they're like, oh wait, maybe I should watch it if that's what they did. That sounds kind of unorthodox.
I didn't do a deep dive on Twitter to see like what
people are
opinions are, but I've seen a quick glance, a lot of hate. But to me, it's like, it's weird to hate unless you hate the whole show. Hating the finale to me doesn't make any sense. Unless you really just dislike this flavor that they're going with. It's tough for me to buy you hating this finale, because like this is the best of what they have been giving us.
Yeah, I agree. I think I'm kind of on the same wavelength as you gentlemen. I thought this was definitely much different, and definitely took me out. I'll be honest, I was on my phone for most of the first half of this episode until
look at this guy.
We broke that fourth wall. I'm like, hold up, wait a minute. What's going on here? So I definitely,
because it was right at that moment where it was like getting out of control. I was like, this is nonsense.
Exactly.
Like, why would this even be happening? And then I was like, oh, here I am, fell for the fucking trap.
Exactly. I fell for it, man. And by the way, the opening, which we're going to break it down here, the opening did catch my attention. The throwback to like literally how She-Hulk was introduced in the comics and replaying all that stuff was pretty cool. But after that, I'm like, oh, here we go again. Another finale. But then boom, they called me. So overall, I would say I'm pretty pleased. I think I still have last week's episode over this one. Just not just for Daredevil, but I thought the writing was crisp and the action was pretty solid. I think last week was probably its high point, but I can't neglect how creative this finale was. And it looks like a lot of people are kind of in the middle with the finale, just looking at the chat here. But speaking of the chat, shout out to all 46 of you all watching live. Appreciate you. Again, for Coyote and Chris, go ahead and check out their content, which can be found in the description of this video. Hit the thumbs up if you haven't already. Share, and let's
subscribe to my boy Back Coyote. We live.
Yes, sir. So, tossing to you, Coyote. We opened, like I said, the beginning of the episode definitely caught me off guard because it was an homage to literally how the She-Hulk was introduced in the comics, and definitely was had a little bit of that homage to the old Hulk show, the look and the feel and design of the character. What did you think of this opening? And did it catch you off guard, or were you like, what is this nonsense?
No, I originally knew what it was because my parents are geeks like me. Like my dad got me into Star Wars. My mom got me into Wonder Woman. I knew the Lou Ferrigno like Hulk because I watched all that. I watched all
Yeah.
those shows, so I immediately recognized. Oh, this is the Hulk. Oh, gee, let's go. And if you look at it, it's almost a shot for shot recreation. So I really liked like that they were doing that, and because the show is so meta, because the nature of She-Hulk is so meta and fourth wall breaking, I thought the episode was going to be like this for a good point.
That would have been pretty nuts.
That would have been amazing. And I thought they would have stopped it at a certain point to be like, wait a minute, this isn't the show that we're doing. And then they would bring it into our version. But I loved it. The shot for shot, you know, that they got a bodybuilder to be She-Hulk. They, you know, they have Bruce yes, the Lou Ferrigno, the bodybuilder. I loved that show. I watched it with my parents that got me into it. So I immediately recognized it. And I thought it was such a great homage to that.
Couldn't agree more. And it would have been wild if they would have done that. If they would have been the whole show, like a kind of a WandaVision.
It worked for WandaVision.
Yeah, it definitely did. Chris, man, how did you feel about this opening? Did you appreciate the homages, the tilting of the hat, if you may?
Yeah, I appreciate it. I didn't watch much of the Hulk whenever it was out, or like just as a kid, but I knew what they were doing pretty soon. And I don't think I would have wanted the finale to be all of that. I would have seen it maybe an earlier episode, maybe 5 or 6 or something like that. That would have been cool, like definitely like WandaVision. But then also to Coyote's point, like push it a little further. Maybe you get some of the original cast to come in and be like, this is not your show. Like, hello, like go back to your thing, and then that would have been cool too. But yeah, I thought it was cool.
Yeah, I thought it was great. And again, obviously we're at the end. I was hoping that this show would have been more of this stuff, more of episode 8. If it would have been, we would have maybe been talking about maybe one of the best shows they've produced so far, but we'll get to it at the end as far as overall how we feel about the show. But again, like a lot of you all have said and are saying in the chat, this opening was pretty fantastic, if you may. But we open from there and we see that unfortunately Jen is in the same confines as she was with Abomination. Mallory and them is coming through. She's still sticking to her guns, which I'm still sticking to her guns too. What she did was completely called for. Like if you have you got a sex tape out there in front of your parents and all your information's out there, she has, even if she didn't have Hulk abilities, anyone would be upset at that point. So I stand by you, Jen. But unfortunately, she's a Hulk. So right now, she has to agree to, if she wants to be out, she has to put on that same device that Abomination had to kind of be on parole and not Hulk out, or else she'll be locked in prison for whatever. So this is when the show kind of went, oh, here we go. We go to the parents' house. We're kind of living in the petty, or not the petty, but just kind of the sadness of the situation. I'm like, where are we going with this? Coyote, man, is this where you were kind of like, oh, here we go. We might be getting into some boring stuff, or were you liking that it was establishing Jen is now, she misses the She-Hulk. She wants to be the She-Hulk. How did you feel about kind of that Jen being at home moment?
I thought it was funny how while we're thinking about the questions of how this is going to go, the writers have the foresight to have actually Jennifer see that, saying, oh, hey, is this what you guys like? Is this what you wanted? I mean, she's like, I know it's kind of ironic that I'm not She-Hulk anymore. Like, it's kind of not what I wanted, but I don't know, I kind of miss it now. And I was like, wait, I was just about to ask that. About to ask that question. I was thinking about that. So I thought it was interesting how they kind of, give us like that whole view of, okay, now she has like the powers stripped away. No longer She-Hulk. Because it's not something I thought I would expect in the finale, but I do like how they incorporated that in her character, where she's just like, well, I kind of did want to be her, so I get it. It's ironic. She's looking at us like, yes, I get it. I said that earlier this season. Get off my back about it.
She lost her job too. That definitely sucks.
Yeah, it's crazy how, because of that act, and I agree with you, like, you can't really blame her, because in front of her colleagues, her peers, the life that she wanted, heading in a direction that she wanted, all of a sudden it's being taken away by this, by this group who hate her. And she's like, damn it, I was getting everything I want. Why can't things work out for me? Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, rage out. Because think about it. If that was, anybody else here, you would rage out too. And if you had, the Hulk genes, I wouldn't blame anybody. So when people were just like, oh, you hulked out, they see you as a monster now. It's like, oh, come on. Like, none of you would act the same way in that world. Come on. She has to lose her job. Come on. Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I do agree with Kevin's comments here. It kind of did. To lock her up was a little extreme, but I guess to be fair, they've experienced the Hulk, so they're not even taking any like second thoughts, or maybe she'll be okay. They're taking all the the right moves to make sure that they don't have people die, because we've seen what happens when the Hulk's out. But what about you, Chris? How do you feel about this kind of montage of a sorts of her being in her pain and sorrows and losing her job, and at first not wanting these abilities, not wanting the job, not wanting the She-Hulk, but now she's missing it, man, and the world is not making it easier on her.
Yeah, we all want that old thing back, but I feel the same way as Kev. Like I didn't hate the episode yet, but I thought it was nonsense that she would have been arrested for that or locked up for that. The amount of damage the Avengers have all caused, like, like people have really died. Like
True.
Iron Man, literally, they killed that kid.
I mean, yeah.
And she fucking broke a flat screen. Maybe it was OLED, and then I guess they were like, "Look, girl, that's fucking expensive."
There you go.
But it was just so crazy because, like, she a Hulk. Like, it's not even that, like, we know what you can do, but like, just talk to her in the beginning when she became a Hulk. Like, all right, look, we've seen what the Hulk can do, so we're gonna put you on these little parameters here, so you can't break no TVs. And then at the end, if she breaks the TV, then it's like, look, we told you you can't break no TVs. So then I would have been like, okay, well, they did tell her, but I thought it was so crazy to put her in this high, like, what Abomination was in for versus what she was in for. It was like, wait, and then it wasn't even unwarranted. Like they hacked all of her privacy, like took like put all this, like no one looked to ask, like, wait a minute, who's behind all this? Like,
she didn't have a court case. She didn't even go to court. They just
exactly. Like, you got me in court defending people whose costumes are malfunctioning, but y'all can't defend someone who really just almost stole my identity. So, like, what kind of, if we're going to do bullshit cases, tell me we don't do real cases?
Yeah.
That's what
I agree. You guys are bringing up a great point. It is kind of seems a little, which again, we can say that the writers, that was the clever writing, but it is kind of shortcomings that they didn't kind of go to those extra lengths or so. And again, I don't know why the show has to stick with that 30. I know it's a sitcom, but the 30-minute thing could have been broken for the finale. They could have extended a little bit more to kind of touch on some of those beats that we just mentioned. But overall, like I said, at this point in the episode, I'm just kind of thinking we're going down this path of just same song and dance. She's gonna find out who the Hulk is. We're gonna probably have this big superhero fight, and Hulk's gonna come in, which they do that in the show, by the way, which does get a little bit of meta. But listen, at this point in the episode, she's at home with her mom. Nikki and her are trying to figure out things. Even this douchebag here, I thought that Todd Phelps, whatever his name is, was the douchiest douche on the show, but I forgot about this dude, this Dennis guy. We need the Avengers to take him out ASAP. Where's Ronan? Get that Ronan
when
suit.
He was on TV. Oh, man.
Let's get Ronan back in the mix. I got a hit for him, man. This guy
wild.
Here.
I said, man, this guy's really capitalizing on this for his own personal gain. Are you serious, man? I was rolling my eyes like, this guy is unreal, bro. Absolutely unreal. This freaking, like, it's like the guy that you love to hate, because apparently in the comics, he's kind of that character. He's the guy that, like, you love to hate. He is like the villain without being a super villain. You know, he's just always in Jennifer Walters' way. He's always making some snide remark. It's just like, damn, this guy's terrible.
And I wonder if he's gonna
be out with her and stuff like that. It's like, bro, come
on. Lying. I wonder if he's gonna like pop up again at all at some point. Chris, what did you think about this Dennis douche? Is he the next big bad that the Avengers should be worried about taking down?
Here you go. I still think the other guy is douchier, but I also forgot. I know when he popped up, I was like, oh, I remember him. I remember not to like him, but I kind of forgot what he did in the beginning. Like, I forgot why I hate him.
He was saying like Meg the Stallion, like he really thought he had a chance with her. And he was calling women like it's. He was like, I'm going to talk to it. He was being very like misogynistic.
No, the other guy's still worse. This guy's an idiot.
Josh?
Yeah. With Josh?
We'll get into the Josh Hulk scene later.
Yeah. And at this point, shout out to Nikki, man. She's
the real MVP of
the real MVP, man. She comes up with the idea, like, you know what? Let me use that footage, by the way. Tatiana, man, she got some. We talked about it for weeks, Chris and Coyote. I don't know how you feel about this, but I did find the show to say like all these dudes find her unattractive, and all these dudes find her to be, a 5 or 4, but Tatiana Maslany is a cutie if you ask me. And she's throwing it back a lot in the show, man. She got some style to her, Coyote. I don't know if you're on the same wavelength as me and Chris, or do you feel differently? Do you think?
No, I'm on the same wavelength. I actually I talked about this on my show. I find it funny how it's almost like that old like trope where where it's just like I don't know what you call it, where you have a girl who, you know, she has her hair back, she has glasses
A
on.
girl next door type of situation.
Yeah, the girl next door, and all she does is take her glasses off and put her hair down.
She's
And
a
she's
dime.
like, you know, like you want to make us believe that all these guys don't want to date, you know, like Jen, you know, who looks like, you know, like Tatiana Maslany. Like, come on, I think she's really attractive. So all these guys are like, oh yeah, no, I'm more She-Hulk guy than Walter. So like, are you kidding me? Come on, you can't do that with Tatiana Maslany. You can't do that.
And listen, I never been to La La Land, Chris. I know you've been out to Los Angeles a few times. I know the Los Angeles like bar of, you know, stereotypical materialistic girls are like much different than other places in the world. But still, I mean, I think Jen is a solid 8 in my book. She got the swag, she got the personality, she got the job. She's a damn Avenger. But I know she's like I was saying, Kenny, like she's a 5 in LA. But
especially that old video that Nikki had where she was dancing, I was like, oh, okay. All right, Tatiana, I see you. Okay, I see what's going on there.
All I'm saying is I wouldn't be surprised if Tatiana Maslany is in the next Meg Thee Stallion video. That's all I'm saying.
That's all.
Which actually they should have done that. They should have done that.
That'll be fire. Not only because like Tatiana Maslany is a huge fan that she would geek out, but it would just be something crazy for the coach. Like, yo, they got Tatiana in the next video.
Throwing it back. Yeah. Calling it now. But as we move forward in the episode, Jen has taken upon herself. She can't reach out to the Hulk because he's doing his thing, which we'll talk about that later. She can't. Emil isn't responding because he doesn't have Wi-Fi or cell phone service. So she's like, let me go up and drive to the retreat. He's greeted by one of the dudes from the wrecking crew. She's like, this book is trash. And she's, you know, going around the place. Meanwhile, Nikki and Pug decide to go to the retreat. And by the time they got to that thing, it was pretty obvious that was, you know, Blonsky's place because of just the look and the feel of it all. But I don't know, Chris, what did you think about Pug and Nikki's plan and him trying to fit in with the crew? And we also get the big reveal, which wasn't that big of a reveal, but it was Todd the whole time.
Honestly, for like, and I feel like it's such a basic bitch, but like for a second, I was like, Nikki's the bad guy? I was like,
hey, you're not wrong, Chris. There's some people that thought she might, you know, you never know. You know,
yeah, I'm really like a real fan in the show. Like, I don't even be trying to figure out the ending. I'm like, what? That's crazy. And then I'm like, okay, good. Yeah, no, it's a great, you know, I think we have in this show, we've been talking week after week, we have mad love for Pug and Nikki. Like, they
came through,
and
man.
This is no different. I guess there's, you know, you got a suspension of belief where it's like, okay, like would the leader of the fucking intelligentsia like bring this girl in for one weak ass video? Like, no, I don't think so. But I was willing to look past it. It wasn't nothing where I'd be like, I can't watch this. This is nonsense. Yeah. But if I'm, you know, if you're nitpicking, then I would pick that out. But yeah, I thought the plan was good and it made sense up to here.
Yeah, I agree. Coyote, your thoughts on this? And I guess to clarify, Emil wasn't supporting whatever the group was. He just thought he was doing a retreat of like
an
motivating
engagement.
people. Yeah, it wasn't like he wasn't in it at all. But your thoughts on this scene and also the moments of the guy who has the hat on mentions Lady Hulk or Lady Thor, and I don't like that. I wouldn't like if she's a man. This show trolls is just hilarious.
I thought that was so I thought it was so fascinating, right? Like they look through the internet, they see the comments are like, oh, we got to bring in some like Mighty Thor, like Lady Thor comments in there, you know. Like I thought Nikki is a best ride or die. Everybody needs a Nikki. You know what I mean? Yes. Whether it be a guy, you know, whoever, everybody needs a Nikki. She is so down for Walter. She always comes through for She-Hulk. You know, whether it's in her best interest, you know, telling her early on in the season, you got to get in front of the cameras, you know, like get in front of this narrative, or, you know, she you know, tells her about intelligentsia, even though the other lawyer told her not to, concocting this whole plan of getting inside of it in intelligentsia, you know, like bringing along old boy to help her out. She's like, oh, wait, you know, because the guy was like, I'll see you soon, bro. He's like, wait, bro, damn. All right, hey, I need your help.
Speaking of bros, for a second, I thought the Tracksuit Mafia was going to be somewhere in there. But
I thought that too. I thought that too. I was like, oh, are they going to bring some of this in? Because, you know, I thought that was possible. You know, have some of the underworld elements here because, you know, they could probably be a part of it. But I thought it was funny, the little conversations they were having in that little retreat. And I didn't put one on one together that was the Abominations retreat. But I thought it was funny, like all the internet troll comments just there in real life and how cringe it sounds in real life.
Say it out loud. Yeah.
When real people are saying it out loud, you're like, damn, that sounds cringe. The only thing I didn't believe that's the pure fantasy of the whole thing is how Pug couldn't. Oh, how do I be How do I
it's
be
like, come on, guys,
a regular dude?
we
It's like,
know
no, 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 no,
he's
no, no,
a
no.
normal
He's
guy.
not. Listen, exactly. Yeah. Listen, this guy
Yeah.
goes to the gym. He's a handsome guy. Don't tell me he's never talked like a guy. Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
You're like this isn't a Lifetime movie where you have like, the Christmas movie where you have the guy with the sweater and the cardigan, and he's just like, oh, I'm the perfect dude of the Christmas
Prince
card.
Charming,
I do nothing wrong, honey. I baked you
I was
cupcake.
born yesterday.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, I was born yesterday. So when he was like, "Oh, how do I?" and Nikki was, how did Nikki know what to say? And this guy's like, "I don't know how to be rude." Ick. It's like, come on, bro. Like you can't pretend to fake it. You don't know what
women.
To
I
say.
mean, you know what I'm saying. What about women? Yeah,
exactly. How do I say stuff against women? I don't know. I'm kind of the perfect guy here. I'm like, oh, come on, bud. Like, really?
I think if they wanted to play that angle, if I was writing it, I would have wrote it as if he's so woke that he's afraid to even pretend. He's like, people get canceled just for messing around, and then Nikki has to convince him, like, no, like, I know we're pretending, and he's like, I can't say this stuff. And then there's a look of give and take of that. Then I'd take that as more believable.
I agree.
And then maybe there's a joke about like he does it really well, like without Nikki's help, and then Nikki's like, all right, relax.
Hold on, bro. Right?
Then, yeah, exactly.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
But again, Pug and Nikki for the dub. Some good friends, but I don't know if I'm getting used to this abomination look. I'm still not vibing with it, Chris and Coyote. I don't know how y'all feel about, especially. I don't know. It just looks weird him wearing these clothes and just knowing where the abomination came from. It's gonna take a while to grow on me. But what you all think about this scene? Like I said, we all established that he wasn't working with them, but for a hot second, did you think that he was maybe the big bad number 2 for a second, Chris?
Well, I remember in the beginning we've been talking about this. And I kept saying, like, you kept asking in the earlier episodes, like, do you think that he's really like trustworthy now? And I kept saying, yes, he is. And when this came on, I was like, what the hell? I was wrong. And I just hate he looks like the Shape of Water so much. Like, it just I just can't unsee
wow. If you know, you know.
Yeah, if you know, you know. Yeah, worst was that Best Picture? No, that's not the worst Best Picture. That's Nomadland. Yeah, that's Nomadland. That's the worst Best Picture in recent history. But that's a debate for another day. But if you know, you know. So I keep thinking of that, and then I'm going back to like the original Abomination, like how we met him at. And I'm like, damn, this is totally different.
It's a discount. I mean, and to be fair, this is more, for the comic book heads. This is more the comic book accurate version of Abomination because he is more of a fish-like character. But yeah, Chris, I think you're pretty spot on, man. Let me did they even have a name? I don't know if they named the creature. Well, shout out to Doug Jones who does all those great
it's the lips for me
designs. So we look at, here it is, guys. Take a little mental picture. So it's
also a very interesting movie. Very interesting.
Very interesting. Yeah. I've only seen it once. I enjoyed it from when I said, but I never revisited it, especially, once you see some explicit fish love scenes. So don't plan on watching anytime soon. But yeah, Chris, you're spot on, especially those ears, bro. And those lips too.
The ears are crazy.
Yeah, those ears were crazy. I'm just like, why does he look more fish-like? He has that
and
that
the
weird,
shit is like fitted.
Superimposed human face. His head kind of looks like, when you first saw Will Smith as a genie in Aladdin live action. And now he's just like a real face on a CG body. That's what it kind of looked like here. And I was just like, this is kind of off. But then you remember how
Oompa head from the Super Mario Brothers original.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The OG with John Leguizamo.
Yeah, the Oompas.
Yeah. He looks like that. Oh man, it looked wild. But as soon as he walked in the room, I was like, oh, I knew it. Because I don't know if you remember us talking about it, Elliot. But I was saying how what if Abomination is working along with the guys who were trying to take the blood. And I said, what if he's trying to, perfect his version of Abomination? So when he walked into the room, I was like, oh, no, he started screaming incoherently. My neighbors were like, the hell? Anyway, but I was like, Dave Chappelle, gotcha. But nice. And then he started talking. He's like, man, yes. And I was like, oh, man, he's leading this group. Oh, he's the guy in charge. Oh, I can't believe this is crazy. He's actually doing this. And then later on, he was like, whoa, I'm just hired to do a talk. That's all I'm doing. I'm speaking in general. I'm not trying to do a thing here. I'm not a part of their whole taking your blood. I'm not a part of this blood sucking thing. I don't know what's going on with that. But oh man, when Jen walked in, she's just like, what? Wait.
I thought she was gonna immediately Hulk out and go toe to toe. But I guess it explains his whole couple weeks ago when his ankle thing, his parole thing went off. It was probably for him.
Right.
Some probably had a meeting before.
Yeah, another engagement.
But at this point, this is when, as you all mentioned earlier, things got out of hand. We see Todd taking the shot, and like he's becoming. I'm like, are they about to make this dude the Red Hulk? Which would have been ridiculous. But it was all part of a plan, y'all. And by the way, the visual effects on Todd being a Hulk was just I didn't like it. So I'm glad it was all part of a joke, because they know it was part of a joke.
Seriously.
But he's hulking out. Then we have Titania coming out of nowhere, which I will just get it out of the way now. I like the character. Shout out to the actress that tried to bring some life to the character. What a waste. What an absolute waste to have this character in the show. Like, that was just like, it went absolutely nowhere. That character was wasted. But she comes in, Hulk comes in, and that's where Jen pauses everything. But up until that point, what did you think about it, Coyote? Did you think, like, what is going on?
I thought there was no shot this is the ending. Absolutely not. This guy turns into I thought before he injected himself, I thought, no way, he's going to turn to the Red Hulk. No, we're not going to have a Thunderbolt Ross. Are you kidding me? And then he starts hulking out, and then you have She-Hulk saying, this is not going to work, right? Because earlier on the season, Bruce explained that it works you turning into the Hulk because we have this gene in our family that kind of allows that. So I thought there was zero shot. This is how they're going to end this thing. This is terrible. And then I got back on my phone. I leant back a little bit. I was like, oh, whatever, okay.
Yep.
And I agree with you on to Titania, who played by Jamila Jamil, being wasted. I mean, I got a buddy who's huge into the She-Hulk comics and talks about the different characters, and she's one of the bigger ones. And especially when you want to have a superhero show, that's about like females, and you have a perfect villain who's also female. I mean, why do you need to bring in the Abomination or any of these other characters? Why not like put in on Titania? I mean, they're both super strong. They can both have different battles, either within the courtroom, outside of the courtroom.
Right.
Like we had a sort of fight at the wedding, which was really like lackluster in my opinion, and kind of corny. They played the electric slide. I know it gets played at weddings, but it's kind of low common denominator. Oh, a fight's being played, DJ plays the electric slide. I don't know, but yeah, I thought it was a big waste for her to come in the end and not really be explored. I mean, I was excited to see the character. I really didn't know much about her, especially because Jamila Jamil's been doing a lot of different marketing around Los Angeles.
She's been doing so much. She's been like marketing the show, like
Ryan
Reynolds or The Rock or Kevin Hart. Like, she's been going hard for this show.
And I thought it's because her character had a big role. Because when you have, an actor, like that, who's really into it, like spray painting the side, doing, like benches and stuff like that. I was like, oh, okay, cool. She has something coming up. There's something crazy about to happen. That's why she's flaunting her character around the city. But no, she pops in like the Kool-Aid Man and just, and that's it. I'm like, what? That's the end of that character. But I don't know. What do you think, Tate?
I think, and I'm really not. Your first question was about. What's the guy's name? Is it Jake?
Which one?
The Hulk, the bad guy,
the
Todd. Hulk King. Todd. Your first question was about the CGI, and I'm not the one that's like the most critical of CGI. Like, I'm not that. I've never been that guy.
Mm-hmm.
But that looked terrible, and I was like, this doesn't even make any sense, because like it made a whole big deal in episode 1 about her having to be related to Banner. Then like they had this perfect storm has to happen. He just puts this freaking goop in, and then he's turned into the Hulk. That's like that can control it. He wasn't even like out of control. So I was like, this is what the hell is this? And then Banner came, and I'm like, of course I'm happy to see Banner, but I'm like, wait, why is it? So then it's like the what do you call it? The white savior, and like this.
The man coming in, saving it.
Yeah, he's saving her, and then like then I was okay with Titania coming in, because I thought that they were gonna fight together. So
come together. Yeah, that would have been.
Yeah, I was like, okay, that might be interesting too. And then as soon as I had that thought in my head about like this whack ass finale, boom.
It was all part of a scheme. And by the way, we don't even know where she got her powers from. That was another thing. I thought they were going to reveal that she was experimenting on and just blah, 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 blah. Maybe that'll be revealed later on, the leader. I don't know. We'll see. But that character, we can all agree, was wasted.
And then if it's like, if she's creating all these like fragrances and stuff like that, like maybe like just talk about that. Like, I was trying to make some fucking fragrances, and this shit got crazy.
Gotten some crazy, which that would be, But one thing that did, listen, I don't know what. Look at this shot here, and then when you look at something from 2008, which was the Hulk
like
film,
10 times bigger.
Where does did he shrink? Did he? I know the Hulk literally from a character was terrible, but like, come on, how do we go from this to the Hulk being little mini me versus Abomination? What are your thoughts on this, Coyote?
I think I saw something about how his size depends on what type of Hulk he is. So here we have like the smart / like Professor Hulk, so he's not that big, and people are saying the scuttlebutt is that like he will get bigger once he becomes like the Beast Hulk. Once, what is it? Universal Paramount?
Is that comic book stuff or MCU stuff? Because the MCU they haven't established that at all. He's just been consistent.
They haven't
size.
Yeah. I think they might export more once Disney gets the full license to the Hulk, once it's gone from the other studio. Right. So maybe because they kind of showed us that, you know,
I didn't even know they didn't have the full later. Right.
Yeah, no, that's been a whole thing for a while. That's why we never got a solo Hulk film, and they had to throw in the World War Hulk in the Thor Ragnarok film because they can't do a solo Hulk movie.
Yeah, and on top of that, there's only so much they can do with the Hulk without doing. It's kind of like the Rings of Power. They have the rights, but they don't really have the full rights to do everything. So it's kind of like that with the Hulk. So the rumor is that that's why he's so small, because he's this type of Hulk, and later on he's gonna become bigger. I mean, it sounds dumb. It sounds really dumb. Just make him the same size. I was so shocked to see the Abomination like this much bigger than Bruce Banner Hulk. I'm like, damn, y'all really nerfed him because you don't have the rights. You know, like you're driving down the stocks when you buy it later, it's cheap. As a business move, you know, it's just like, oh, you guys don't want the rights to this. I mean, look at this guy. No one really likes him. And then again, I'm like, yes, he's strong now. He's bigger now. Look at him. Get this movie. Yeah, but
or just explain it in this season, maybe just have some reason why Abomination's a little bigger.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But they should have been the same size. They should have had an actual fight in which one of those things where something could be easily explained if you just talk, but they just start going at it. I think they should have had more of a knockout, drag out fight. You know, like Hulk is fighting Abomination, that Titania is fighting She-Hulk. Everything can be explained if they all just talk it out, but it starts happening, and then something happens.
Superman.
But we all know the reason why we didn't get that is because, as the show point out, there's a budget restriction, which we'll get to here. But I'm gonna let me know, everyone in the chat, and of course Chris and Coyote, when this happened, was I the only one that thought that my TV like froze or like there was a glitch on Disney Plus when they stopped everything? This was easily the best fourth wall breaking I might have ever seen, and this includes Deadpool, as far as live action goes. Coyote, how amazing was this from the writers to have, number one, the meta-ness of everything that's going on right now? Literally, if you go on Disney Plus right now, this is pretty much the same layout. Man, am I tripping? It was one of the best fourth wall breaks of all time.
I thought, like you, Elliot, to your point, I thought that I either hit pause or I leaned on the remote or something, because I was just like, wait a minute, because it kind of froze for a second, brought us here, and I was like, huh? Hang on a second. And then, you know, I saw the play button was still going. And when she broke in, I couldn't believe it. It's such a bold move. It's such a great actual fourth wall breaking thing that could only be done on Disney Plus, on a streaming service. Like, using it like this is incredible, because she's done this in the comics, right? I'm not like a huge like She-Hulk fan and comic reader, but because of the show, I like to do research. I like to watch interviews. I like to go back and read stuff. And I have a friend who's huge into comic books, and he's recommending some things. So like, I got to see the panels where she does break out. I got to see the panels where she talks about Marvel itself and the comic book, that she's in. But I thought it was such a bold move. I thought it was crazy, and I thought it was a lot of fun. They did that. I mean, talk about breaking the fourth wall, talking about shattering it, because she was doing it before Deadpool, and they thought, okay, we are Marvel. We're going to show why She-Hulk is the GOAT at fourth wall breaking. I thought it was crazy.
Chris, man, are we tripping, bro? Was this something that impressed you, or like I think someone in the comments mentioned that it kind of threw them out of the show, which, you know, reasonably so. Especially, we talked about it, Chris, for the last 9 weeks. The fourth wall breaking has been very inconsistent. In some episodes, they wouldn't even do it. So it is kind of jarring when you're like, oh yeah, she can do that. But how did you feel about it, man? Was it super meta? Was it out of place? Your thoughts, man?
Yeah, I'm very proud to first say that I was not fooled, because I'm usually the first one that's going to be tricked with the
damn. Did
banana,
I forget to take my Disney Plus?
The banana in the tailpipe. Exactly. But no, I thought this was great. There's a lot of people that probably don't like this. I'm not going to debate you or fight you. Cool, this is to each his own. But I personally, when this was happening, I was like very in tune, very attentive, and I'm trying to think of another moment in a recent Disney Plus show that I've been that intently watching every little line, looking at every little background. I was like, this is really crazy, and they could have pushed it a little further, because if it was me, I would have been in there like,
I would have went on another shows.
Why the fuck my show not at the band? It's the finale. Put my shit at the front, and then gassing. You know, I would have went to the Black Panther. Be like, yo, that sequel's about to be crazy. Like, I would have went crazy with it. But I know they're probably like, look, this is already risky.
5 minutes. Yeah.
Let's get out of here. But it could have been real interesting. But I thought it was dope.
Bro, I would have threw her right into Guardians and had like a quick conversation with Gamora. I would have threw her right into Eternals just to be like, this film is fire. She should have jumped into what is that, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Like, yeah, Chris, I would have went crazy with this. Like, they would have been like, yo, we don't got that much money, bro. But this moment was just
that's actually a crazy idea. She goes into the different
shows?
properties and she starts talking to the characters for a little bit. You know, like she goes to Miss Marvel and she's like, oh, it's you, because Miss Marvel would know exactly.
It's like, that's the new one. That's the new one. Yeah,
like, oh, you're the new hero. Oh, I love you so much. Blah, blah, blah. And she'd be like, okay, kid, damn.
spoil the movie for people, or spoil the
right.
ending.
Oh man, that'd have been great.
That would have been dope. That would have been.
But I think about that all the time because like every time that it's a She-Hulk day and like She-Hulk's not the first thing on there, I'm always like, why is it not the first thing? So then like, of course, she probably can't diss another show. But like, imagine she's up there, and then like it swipes, and then she brings it. She just brings it back, and then she's like puts a stick in it or something, so it doesn't swipe or something. Like, there's so many things.
So many things here. And by the way, like I said, she had a little dig at well, not her personally, but when Kevin says, you know, there's some good films and not other ones are better than other. Listen, I applaud these individuals here in this room taking that risk. And for a hot second, y'all, I thought that we were going to get Kevin Feige. I thought they were going to bring Kevin Feige.
I thought so too.
Into the show.
I thought so too.
Which I don't know if he has. Apparently, when people go to cons and all that, they're very impressed by how articulate he is, and he's a crowd pleaser. He doesn't need a teleprompter. He's a very people person. I would have loved to have seen Kevin Feige make his MCU debut and be like the almost Stan Lee of a sorts of the MCU projects, popping in and out of them. But he didn't do it. Or maybe this was Kevin Feige. We actually saw Kevin Feige in his real form, in the form of AI robot, which I thought was hilarious. But she's walking through the lot of Disney, which I've never been to this part of Disney, the actual lot of Disney, which hopefully maybe one day. But Chris, man, your thoughts on the writer's room? Very, again, Saturday Night Live meets MCU vibes, and I'm have it on the screen now. I was trying to look at the backdrop and see what kind of little Easter eggs you could find. But man, where were you at this point in the episode, bro?
Yeah, I was trying to take it all in. I was trying to see the background. I was trying to see what the art was. 7. But I just knew that people were just gonna break this down for me in the future. So I was like, man, let me just watch this show.
Yeah.
let the experts do their thing because I don't got the time for it. But I thought it was fire. I thought it was awesome just having her walk up to the thing and like, you know, do the NDA and all that. Then, then that opens up a whole nother thing of like things that she's seeing that she can't tell us.
Yep.
It's like risky, but it's like, hey, we've been doing this for 8 episodes. Let's go crazy on the 9th.
Yep. And by the way,
I definitely did think, like you said, I definitely thought I was going to see Kevin for real.
That would have been dope. And by the way, like I said, these are actually the writers. These are legit the writers and directors of this show. So they've actually, speaking of meta, they made a cameo on their own show. And a lot of people can't actually say that. But your thoughts, Coyote, on this fourth wall breaking moment, her walking through the lot. And again, was there any Easter eggs? I'm trying to zoom in on the back.
Yeah, I was trying to pause and look for Easter eggs. I think there's some like there are actual like concept arts of what they're going to do. There's like some comic book covers.
By the way, this guy he did last week's episode. He wrote last week's with Daredevil. So I can't think of his name right now, but that's who that guy is.
Yeah. There's that guy. There's the lead writer, Jessica Gao, who's if you're looking at the writer's room there, she's in the back left. And I found she's that's the head writer, Jessica Gao in the red. And I found it interesting how like it's the guy on the right talking. I don't know if that guy's an actual writer or he's just like supposed to be like the Kevin Feige stand-in, but then at first they were just like, oh no, this he's just like a writer in the room. But like I found it interesting how I would kill for Kevin Feige. We all went, she's like, okay, it's kind of weird how you guys that's how like some diehard Marvel fans are, like Kevin Feige, he do no wrong, he's amazing. He made his own juice, I would buy it. But I found it interesting how they had him kind of be the adversary, like versus like She-Hulk across the room. I was like, why didn't like Jessica Gao write herself being in that role where She-Hulk was like targeting her anger towards like, hey guys, I don't like the ending of my show, and the guy was like, yeah, but this is what we thought. This is the best thing, and she's like, yeah, but it's not the good. And he's like, yeah, but you know these things are supposed to happen in a show. It's like, interesting that it's a dude, but it's not Jessica Gao. I thought that was kind of funny without saying too much. But I did like how she went from there to the Marvel offices, and apparently that's sort of how they look. Like
I think this is legit. I think this is the actual Marvel office in New York. I think. Yeah.
I thought that was fire. Like her walking through the actual show. It's so many because like I saw some people on Twitter like, kind of hate on it. They thought it was quote unquote lazy, but I thought it was funny because she does this in the comic, where she references the fourth wall. She knows like at certain points she's in a comic, there are people writing her, you know, like, and that's where like Deadpool essentially got that from. So I thought it was funny that she's walking through the actual offices. She's talking to the actual people, and she's getting to the bottom of it. She's like, we can't end like this. She's like, this is not it. We're not doing this. Like, and I love when she got to the room with Kevin for the anagram for I forget what it's called. It's like something neuro whatever.
Yeah,
knowledge.
Yeah, robot being Kevin Feige. I love how the robot had like Kevin Feige always wears hats. And I love how the robot had like a little brim and a hat too. I thought that was so funny. He's just like this algorithm, this machine putting out these movies, and you kind of have this matrix architect like type room where
that's
she's
exactly
like,
what I thought of when I saw this.
Yeah, she's like, what
Colonel,
is all this?
Colonel Sanders Matrix moment.
Yeah, the guy quid pro quo, Mr. Anderson. Yeah, she's like, what is all this? And we're looking at the MCU, all the movies, and she's like, okay, looking at some of them, liking them, and some of them she's like, okay. And even Kevin admitted, yeah, some of them are not that great, but you know, we put out some good stuff. And this is how your show's going in. But okay, so what do you want? And she starts listing what she wants. I thought this was funny. I thought it was a bold move. Some people call it lazy. I personally don't see how it's lazy. I think it's a bold move. I think it's a huge risk to do that, to reference yourself like that, especially for the writers. And obviously for Kevin Feige to okay this in the end, because he has to stamp the okay in the end to be like, yeah, you can take the piss out of me, take the piss out of Marvel, take the piss out of the MCU, go for it. And they went for it. I don't see how that was lazy. I thought it was funny. Because that's what She-Hulk does. At the end of the day, it's a comedy. She breaks the fourth wall. And what ultimate possible way can she break the fourth wall? Looking at the MCU and changing her own story.
Which is a gift and a curse in a way, because Chris, my question for you is this sky's the limit next time we see her in a film, or like when does it end? Like how, if she can break the fourth wall, if she is in an Avengers, which we assume she's going to be in Kang Dynasty or Secret Wars, and I'm thinking ahead, but like since we know she could break the fourth wall, she can literally just like break whatever's going on and kind of take the levity out of it. I don't know if I don't know. Am I thinking too much to it, Chris? Like, did they open the Pandora's box too much that she can break this much of?
I mean, you're maybe thinking too much into it, but maybe when things get like real, she's just like, all right, this is real. Like, I guess Deadpool still has to like fight crime. You know what I mean? So like, he still has to like figure shit out.
True.
So I think that's part of the glory there. And I think my favorite part of the whole Kevin interaction was when he says like, you know, switch back to Jen, but off camera. Then they drop that Black Panther sound. Come on. Yes. I rewinded. I said, "Wait, did they just shut the
Black Panther?"
That moment was great. To telling her like, don't transfer back into Jen on camera because it's too expensive, and those visual effects artists were working on a different property. Here's the Wakanda drum. That was great. I was like, oh, what a song! It's great. I love that. That was a good dig. I liked it. And she's like, okay, is this great? Even when she was walking out, she's like, well, how do I do that? What's the best budget friendly thing that? How do I do it on? Do I do the same? That was so funny, you know. And then her changing her whole ending was great. She goes, okay, we're at top. Take that out. Nope. Nope. Bruce doesn't need to. Well, he needs to explain what he was doing as a car. Nope. Save it for the movie.
Great. Yep.
And then she kind of talks about what's with all the daddy issues. You got Thor daddy issues. This character daddy. What's with that? I'm like, you know what?
Robert Iron Man.
Iron Man,
We're the X-Men. Oh my god.
The X-Men drop was crazy.
The X-Men ask.
it's like she really just comes on Twitter, or not she, but the writers, they just go on Twitter and read the comments. Like it's just a level of meta. Like I just love a good troll. I just love it.
I agree. I love it. And we got, like I said, this, and like Chris said earlier, shout out to Unstructured Media who joined us on Sunday for House of the Dragon. He didn't like it, and a couple other people I've seen, said they didn't like it either. Finale and also some of these bits here, but we enjoyed it, man. I had a good time with it. It really, as I talked about earlier, I was kind of disattached from the episode up until that point. So again, I think about when they announced the show as a 30-minute sitcom comedy. This was the comedy I was expecting every single week. Not obviously to this level of absurdity, but just the meta-ness, the fourth wall breaking. It's the last 2 weeks to me were the best written shows or written episodes, and also the comedic beats really worked to me these last few weeks. But
yeah,
like I said, Chris mentioned, and comedy is very subjective and to each their own. But I loved it. And yes, that X-Men reference. And she looked at the camera too, like, I got you.
Thumbs up. She was like, I got you guys. I see you out there.
I asked the right questions. I guess so. Was there, again, we all seem to really like this, but was there, just kind of stepping back a little bit, was there things in this moment that just felt a little too on the nose and maybe didn't work entirely? Starting with you, Coyote.
Let's see, things that didn't work. I think overall it was really interesting to depart from a regular story, because I was detached and I was getting kind of bored. And then when she started referencing, is this really the ending? This can't possibly be how this goes, especially when Todd was transforming with that terrible looking CG, and he's just like, come at me, bro. Some phrases and stuff from years ago. And when they switched it up and it was just like, oh no, this isn't the ending. Oh, okay, here's how we go. Even her asking like Kevin about movies and stuff like that, and he was like, save it for the movie, and she goes, really? He says, no,
I get a movie now. You're not gonna be in a movie. Yeah. Or see, even mentioned in the little, I guess not an Easter egg, but they referenced season 2, which will be very interesting. We got Loki season 2, apparently Moon Knight, Miss Marvel. Now this, very intrigued to see if we get a season 2 with this character. But I'm sorry, go ahead, Cody.
Yeah. If we do get a season 2, at least I know that like what the show is, what they're capable of. Yeah. And it's not really something that there's certain shows that I really look forward to. There's certain shows that I make time for. Yeah. And at first when I started watching She-Hulk, I was like, okay, I'll give it some time, I'll see where this goes. But as it went on and you got like the filler episodes or whatever, I was like, I'm not really that keen to tune in. But there's certain shows, I'm just like, I need to make time for this, I got to put everything aside. Things I'm really hyped for, even certain shows that I'll like stay up for, like Mandalorian. It's like, okay, I'm staying up East Coast like 3 a.m. time just to watch that. She-Hulk, I'm whenever I can get it, I'll just tune in.
What about you, Chris? Anything in this particular moment that was just a little bit too meta, a little bit too didn't work for you on a comedic beat? Or again, was it just like, man, this is really hitting on a lot of levels, man, from a writing perspective, a character perspective? Where were you at ultimately with this fourth wall break?
Yeah, no, I don't think it missed a beat. Like if it was me, I would have just pushed it a little further. If I was in that writing room, and I can imagine them being like, let's get Kevin Feige. And then maybe they tried, and then Kevin's like, I'm not available. Right. And then like, what if he was just like a fucking machine, like the Wizard of Oz, like just like we just.
That's why he wears those hats all the time, because he has his his actual.
So yeah, all those things were perfect. Like if it's just me, I would have just pushed it even further and just been like, let's really get into it. But they asked a lot of the real questions that we've been asking, like again, like the X-Men thing. I'm like, this whole thing, I was like, this is fantastic. Then I knew watching it, I was like, the internet's not gonna like this.
Of course, I don't care. Just calling them out. And I don't know, man, just from the little details of her just sitting there and the way she's just like questioning here, just her body language and just like all these questions. She's just, I don't know, man.
Because she really came into this like, this is the biggest, the MCU is the end all be all of movies, period.
Marvel Cinematic Universe.
And it's already established. It's like she's on the Warriors, right? It's like the Warriors exist, the basketball team, and like, she comes in as like a rookie and is like, I'll guard Steph, fuck it, like whatever. Oh, is he good at threes or something like that? Like, she came in not like, she felt like, oh, I'm here now. Like that's how I feel about the show. Like the MCU exists completely, and she came in like not intimidated by it, not like she let the moment get too big. She like fit in like, oh yeah, I'm here. Like I shoot threes too. What's good? Oh yeah, y'all championships. Like okay, cool. Like maybe we'll go together.
I love that. And shout out to the Warriors. And at least if She-Hulk was on the Warriors,
like I know
she would know how to duck. Chris, she would duck Draymond's punch, or at least punch first. So we can establish that about She-Hulk. Any sports fans out there.
Defend Jordan.
Listen, Coyote, man, I don't want to leave out probably the funniest joke to me was when she says, I would play it, but I don't want to get the stream player. But she says, Hulk can smash buildings and blah, blah, blah. Blah. I smash things and I smash
Matt Murdock.
Genius.
I was like, nah. I was like, I thought it was slick, especially the way she delivered it, just full sending into the camera, just hamming it up. I thought it was funny. Like there's certain jokes in this series that I thought sometimes like didn't land, but there's every time I get a chuckle. But I like that, Hulk gets a smash, I smash too, and even Matt Murdock. I was like, okay, I see you out there. Also, I love their dynamic. Their dynamic. They work so well with each other, especially they're both lawyers. They're both high-powered lawyers. They both know how to litigate. I really and I feel the connection between the two. And I wonder if Charlie Cox and Tatiana Maslany spent some time off screen just hanging out, because they seem to play very well off of each other. So that line felt very funny, because I'm just like, I feel their vibe. You know what I mean?
Yeah. If this was like Netflix or something, she said, she would have probably used
I
definitely
Jessica Jones language.
Oh yeah. Which, hopefully one day, Marvel, we're getting there. When you all see Moon Knight, not that Moon Knight's super violent or gory or whatnot, but it's showing us a little by little. They're starting to. I've always said Marvel, that little kid that saw Iron Man 2008, he or she is 20 plus years old now. So age with your content, age with your audience. So we have to get more mature content and sex jokes, mature nature content. We need it. And also have the kid-friendly stuff, I Am Groot stuff, but age with your audience, which I'm hoping they're starting to do slowly, but definitely surely. But wrapping up the episode, gentlemen, again, shout out to Titania, man. This is a completely wasted character. She's the butt of the joke at this point in the episode. Oh, look, it's Matt Murdock. Which, by the way, Matt Murdock, do I have the shot here where he just jumps out of nowhere? Like he just literally fell out of thin air from Hell's Kitchen to this scene. But hey, I'll take Daredevil however I can get it, man. Which, by the way, Coyote, are you a fan of the look, the feel, the design as far as Matt Murdock in the
Nobody
MCU?
Is. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm not too really keen on the ketchup and mustard costume. I think it's kind of odd. Like I like the all red costume. I do like, if it was all red, I think it would look better, because I see there are some improvements they made to it. I think the costume itself looks better. The colors, I don't really care for.
Well, gentlemen, I did watch last week's episode not too long ago, a couple days ago. He did say in the episode that he was picking up a couple suits from Jacob. So there might be a red one, a black one, the traditional black and red that we might see in the future. I think he has more suits up his sleeve. But yeah, this one here, it's a little left for desire. But I assume, like I said, I think he got some backup plans. But Chris, man, any thoughts on this final moment? And we get this kind of reunion of a sorts. And speaking of reunion, our boy is going to Supermax again, which we'll talk about that post-credit scene. But I don't know, Chris, were you getting any Fast and Furious Vin Diesel vibes here, man, at this family dinner?
A couple of Coronas.
Coronas. Shout out to everyone out there. But Chris, man, I'm not eating white people, barbecue food, bro. I don't know, bro. Is that am I trouble for that?
You ended that statement like, I'm not gonna eat these white people. Like
no. The potato salad. I don't know, Chris. I'm not a potato salad fan for white people. I'm just joking, guys. No, I'm not. But yeah.
He's being serious. This scene was like whatever to me. I think the whole point of this scene was to bring Baby Hulk out, which I think was terrible.
That came out of left field, y'all. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know the story, but I've just been seeing some of the designs of like what the comic guy looks like, and of course it's way different. But I also thought it was just a weak ass way to just reveal it. Like it's like, oh, this is my son.
By the way, here's my son
at the cookout. Like damn, like it should have been. Like could have been a cool moment where like even at the end of the episode, like maybe someone smashes something, and then it's like, and then they're blaming Jen, like it's like it's not me, and then they blame maybe Banner or whatever, and it's like it's not me, and it's like, oh sorry, I brought someone. Anything, anything better than this. Ugh,
I'm trying to pull up accurate.
And taking off what you said, like his comic book look is crazy. If you guys just I guess as Elliot brings it up, just picture a big muscular green Hulk with like the hair of like the lead singer of a metal band. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that shit looks crazy.
Like how do we have this guy who looks like straight out of like a metal band and a metal cover, like the most
this man is straight.
metal,
Look,
like
Scar is from
craziest
GQ, bro. Look at this guy. He's
and then that,
model.
what is that? What is this thing? What is this Wish version of Scar? Well, what is this? Is it the Scar we have at home? Yeah,
I mean, even Banner, they could have put him in a better clothes, like why you don't do don't make him look so washed up. Like he looked like a Modern Family dad or something like that. Like you're not a regular dude. Like stop trying to act like you're a regular. Like you're a Hulk.
He looks like some kind of monk from like the Air Temple from Avatar or something like that. It's just like well, what is this thing where they're man, I don't know, like I don't even, his character hasn't really spoken or said anything, but that walk on him looking like that. Here is my son. He looks like that. He compared to the comic book version, it's like you're already nerfing this character. Yeah. Come on, man. Yeah. Like just from the look alone, it looks like you're nerfing this character.
But hey, you know, like with the Hulk, maybe he'll when he gets bigger and smaller, he looks cooler when he's angrier, maybe.
When they get the rights, he's going to become the actual.
Be cool. It's going to be completely cool.
Disney's driving down that stock so they can get it for cheaper. Get it for cheaper. Oh, you guys don't want that Hulk license? Nobody wants it. And they buy it like, yes, now he's going to look like he does from the comics, all metal and crazy.
Hold on, it was the Hulk wearing this? Was this a tribute to Paul Walker?
Oh, there you go. That's that. Now Easter egg.
Is that a same?
Wait a minute.
Hold on, man. Now let's see.
Is that what's going down? Yeah, because he's kind of.
He's wearing that same kind of.
Yeah. Oh man, familia.
Family.
Familia. Here, have a Corona.
It's a Corona. It's all about family, y'all. All about family.
Let's go grill some steaks and talk about my car.
Nice.
And maybe I'm trying to see where the Rock was in one of these because maybe Scar is resembling the Rock's character in anyway, man.
He's on there.
Where is I'm trying to find the Rock picture.
No, it wasn't go up a little bit. I thought you saw him. Go up a little more. Isn't he there? Isn't that him?
I think this is a mock photo, like a fake photo. Oh no, this is like an actual them.
Or that's not just like
a real one. Gotcha. Yeah,
Dwayne the Hulk Johnson.
Dwayne the Hulk Johnson. But anyway, man, what y'all think about the Coyote? Your thoughts on the family barbecue and how we end the episode before we get into the post credits?
Oh man, I can't remember if they showed the food or not, but just looking at the table, I'm like, man, I know none of that tastes good. I know there's no it's dry. There's no paprika in the potato salad. Like there's raisins in there for some strange reason. The macaroni's dry. Like the meat's dry. Like there's nothing that happens here. Like I got a buddy, God bless him. Like he's white and he's just like, man, every year we hope my mom just doesn't burn the turkey. And he comes over to my place, and my family is originally from Trinidad, and we know the cook boy. You know what I mean? He comes over and spices and ting, you know. But I thought it was a nice way to kind of wrap everything up. It's the safest possible way they could have ended this thing. The whole Fast and Furious style, the family is there, everything is resolved, you know, like you might as well play the See You Again song. I was like, all right, it's very safe. It's very safe. And I agree with some people online I saw who said, oh, they didn't know how to end it. I don't know, a family scene, that's kind of nice. Marvel's about family. I don't know, who cares? Let's end it with this. Everyone's like, you know, talking to Matt about, I guess, kids with She-Hulk, you know, because that's a conversation. Money. Not having money. You know, like I'm surprised they didn't make a joke about him being blind or whatever, because his family was really going in. Hey, so you make money? Well, you don't have any money yet. What about kids? Are kids? Oh, why are you here? You could really afford to fly from New York to LA? What's good with that? You know? And it's just like it was kind of a weird, cringe conversation, but I thought it was the nicest, easiest, safest way possible they've could have ended it. And the whole, and I agree with Tate, them bringing in, you know, Hulk and Scar and introducing him like that, it's so shoehorned in the wheel, but it goes to what we're talking about earlier in the earlier part of the episode, where Marvel just they need to introduce you to the next product.
Throw something in there, which is so funny that we literally got the meta of how Marvel does that, but then they end up doing it themselves, which is just kind of like I don't know if that's even more funnier or if it's sad.
Or if it's sad, like they can't help themselves because they literally took the piss out of Marvel talking about, you guys just do this and that. No, we don't need all this kind of stuff. And here they are. Oh, here's the Hulk, you know, because even the Kevin Robot said, oh, hey, he has to explain what he's doing as a car. And She-Hulk said, save it for the movie, but they did it here anyway. And look at this weird avatar, like who's this guy based off
fade? Is that a fade or am I tripping?
I think it's a fade kind of like, under that snapback.
Yeah. Jesus.
No, I think that's just his hair. Like I think it's like a monk, like the front of it shaven and the rest of it's just hair, like a monk.
Coyote said,
he's not from Earth like this. He's not gonna have drip, obviously.
Right. Well, I mean, he might. Man, he's been hanging out with the Grand Master, man. You know, Jeff Goldblum got some swag, Chris.
He
So
has some, yeah.
you know, he got some swag
Who
up
is
there on
who is
Sakaar.
who is the mother in the comics?
That's the question, right? Well, I don't know in the comics, Coyote. You know who's the
As far as I can remember, like the mother was, I think she was also a warrior on Sakaar,
Hulk.
something like that, and then they had babies together.
Hulk baby mama. Hulk's baby mama.
It's been a while since I looked it up from talking about the Thor Ragnarok.
Sierra the Old Strong, Sarah, I think the name is pronounced Sierra, is revealed to be pregnant with Hulk's child. So I don't know who this. Yeah, let me bring up a picture over here. But I don't know. Yeah, Chris, that's a great question, man. I don't know if we'll meet her in the future or someone put in the comments we're going to see Hulk on Murray or Maury. The baby is yours. And I guess the question is, Coyote, are we going to get that World War Hulk film now that they've introduced a very big plot of that?
I think so, cool. Because I saw some people online who were looking at like patents and looking at licenses and stuff like that, and so somebody, and a lot of these things are publicly available, you can find it. And I think somebody found a while ago, that the license or whatever you call it for the Hulk with the other studio is going to be up around the same time
or something.
That there's a hole that Kevin Feige showed when he was showing us the timelines.
Yeah,
it's gonna be there's like a lot, you know, because you know how like he shows you the timeline. There's certain holes and there's
some of them
title
are
card there.
Out, yeah,
yeah. So people were saying, oh, it's around this timeline that the license the other studio has is up. So it could be that's when we're gonna get it. So I think it's possible.
Yeah, it's going to obviously be much different than the comic books because obviously they've gave him most of that stuff in Thor Ragnarok. And like, at what point are we going to see the Savage Hulk? So it's going to be kind of, it's a multiverse. Maybe it's another, you know, Savage Hulk can be brought back somehow, Gray Hulk. But Chris, do you want to see more of the Hulk, man, in regards to maybe a solo outing to explain where the baby comes from, the mother? Is that something you would be interested in?
Yeah, I'm definitely interested to see that out. Yeah, and then I was looking up the Old Strong too. There's some interesting photos. Yeah, I want to see the Hulk, you know, get, you know, its due shine. Like, I know you always hate how the Hulk has been portrayed so far.
Yeah, man. So
I'm always going to be here for some Hulk action.
I agree. Hopefully they can deliver, because I'm tired of Professor Hulk. I'm done with him, man. To me, the Hulk died in Infinity War. That was the last time when Thanos put those hands on him. That was the last time we saw the Hulk. But wrapping it up, Coyote and Chris, man, she finally is accepted what Matt told her last week. She can be the hero in the courtroom and also a hero outside the courtroom. She's now accepted this both personas, you know, Jen and She-Hulk. And I guess that brings me to the question: to get to this point in the episode, Coyote, did it stick the landing? Do you feel like we now have a new hero we can root for and look forward to in the future in She-Hulk?
I don't know what we have for the future. The way this thing ended, I was like, okay, that was done. I wanted them to stick it where I want to see her again. Like, I want to see her do more. But I don't know, overall the way they presented her in the show, the way that we were following the story along, it's to me it was okay. It wasn't too interesting. I don't know. I thought it was middle of the road. Like, I didn't hate it. I thought it was all right. Some moments I really laughed at. Some moments I really didn't care for. You know, the ending itself, where we have her on the steps, you know, kind of like taking her life back. She's going back to like the courthouse and everything like that. I would like it more if we had more court stuff, and, you know, it's like, oh, okay, she's going back into the courtroom now. We get to see more of the great court stuff we got in this whole series, but we barely got that stuff. I thought it was going to be more along the lines of like Harvey Birdman, if you guys know what that is. It was like a wonderful, insane show on Adult Swim where you had the OG like Hanna-Barbera cartoons, and each episode was like a different crazy courtroom. It was absolutely off the wall bonkers, and I thought that's what She-Hulk was going to be, because you know, talking to my colleagues who actually know the character, they say that the comic is weird and it gets nuts and it gets crazy, and we really didn't get too much of that. So in the ending here, where she's talking about getting back to her life and, you know, how she's going to go after you, you know, in both ways, being a superhero and as a lawyer, I'm like, yeah, but if we get another season, it's just going to be more about her dating life and that, less about the court, unless they get people who actually can write courtroom stuff, because, you know, the head writer and the writers
admit
room,
it,
they admitted in the interview, say, well, we don't
they should
really.
have never said that.
They should have never said that. Like, as someone who works in media, like, stop. You don't have to divulge stuff like that. You know, like there's certain things you just keep to yourself, fake it till you make it. You got in the door. You're fine. Like Jessica Gal, the showrunner, she's done some good stuff on Rick and Morty. She's done some good stuff on some other shows. I admit this is a big undertaking, so shout outs to her, because this had to be hard to pull off.
Easy. You
know, it's not easy, but at the same time, I would say give her some credit, because there are some good, funny things in here, and the court stuff we did get, I did enjoy. I wanted more of that. So when she's going back to her life, I'm like, okay, sure, fine. Yeah,
I hear you, man. Chris, man, when you think 6 months to a year down the road, man, when we're knee deep into phase 5, what will be your lasting memory of She-Hulk?
That fatty in the purple suit. Just joking. No,
that threw it back with Meg Thee Stallion.
No, I'm just joking. What would be my memory of She-Hulk?
The legacy of She-Hulk season 1.
I think it's gonna be Tatiana, just how she took on the role, and like was just like felt like part of the family already, like just part of the team already. So like I'm interested to see where it goes, and I agree with Coyote about the law stuff. And I don't think I enjoyed the cases that we did see.
Yeah,
but I would have loved to see some like more serious cases, and then maybe the ending of this episode where it's like you get the paperwork. And then it's like some crazy case, like is it a Captain America case of like the white guy who was going crazy, or like we got Loki on trial, or like like that kind of thing, where it was like, okay, now all these little play cases, like we got some real shit for you to handle now.
Yeah, that's a great point.
That's what I would have loved to see.
And who knows what the future holds, man? Again, if they do take the more X-Men are viewed upon as like minorities and social classism and all that stuff, then that would be a great way to bring in, She-Hulk and get more serious if she is helping out X-Men getting, integrated into the MCU, into the world and stuff like that. So hopefully, again, I know this show is aimed to be a comedy, but I would love to see, as you just mentioned, Chris, more of those serious cases. We know Sokovia Accords are no longer a thing. And,
that blew my mind. How do you drop that the Sokovia Accord is not a thing, and then you
literally was the reason why the Avengers split up, and literally why the Thanos was able to win, because they were split up. So it's a pretty big deal that they just kind of
and in a show that's called She-Hulk, attorney at law about law. There's nothing dedicated to that. Not blows my mind. Everyone in that writer's room was just like, we should just drop this line. Let's just drop this line. Who cares?
Yeah.
But let's get back to her dating. It's like, what? Oh my God. This is exactly why my friend's fiance won't let him watch like the She-Hulk show in front of her. She hates the show. 100% hates it. Maybe because she's 26 in a healthy relationship, and she's not 30, single and living in Los Angeles. But she's like, this is made for a certain type of woman. It's not for me. She forbids him. He has to sneak watch She-Hulk in his own house
on his phone.
How incredible is that? Because I asked me, hey, have you watched the latest episode? You're like, she won't let me watch that.
That sounds like a crazy relationship.
How can I forget about Madison, the MVP of this show, with two N's and a Y? I need Madison back. But briefly, as we wrap it up, Chris, tossing to you first, man. What do you think about this post-credit scene? Blonsky is out of prison. They've worked together. We know that this is something they did in Shang-Chi, and now he's going to be living with Wong. What's Wong doing, Chris? And he's been on other shows, as he mentioned, Peak TV, as he says. What's Wong and Abomination up to, bro?
I have no idea, but like every show just got Wong sprinkling and just grabbing random people. Like I feel like at the end of this live, he's going to sprinkle to my crib and be like, all right, you two,
come with me.
Pull up. I don't know what's happening. I didn't understand it, and I thought honestly it would be like a little bit more epic, maybe about like where the blood went, and then we would have led into that. But I was like, I don't get this. And then if it's gonna be like this, like then make it funny, like then make Madison show
Where's
up.
Where's Madison, man?
Oh, yeah, exactly.
If Madison was in the back of that portal, Wong,
Madison with two.
That character was absolutely insane.
I love it.
Yeah. But they probably didn't even think that she would probably get that much love, so they probably like, fuck, like we didn't know y'all would love her so much. We would have been put her in the fucking finale.
Man,
yeah.
She was great, man. Coyote, man, what do you think was going on with Wong, bro? He's recruiting all these people. I mean, it would have been nice to have Abomination when Wanda was killing all his, friends and family, and Doctor Strange too. Like, that would have been great to have a Hulk-like character. But what's going on with Abomination? Are we going to see him teaming up with the Thunderbolts? Is he going to be training with America Chavez, who's there as well? Like, what do we expect? Is he building the Midnight Suns in a certain light? Like, what's going on with Wong, bro?
I remember a while ago, I was talking about this, saying that I think Wong is doing something important that we don't know yet. And then we got D23 and they announced the Thunderbolts movie. Mm-hmm. So either Wong is helping build the Thunderbolts or another team, maybe like Midnight Suns, or maybe say something to fight the Thunderbolts. But I thought it was very interesting, like Wong's demeanor when he was talking to the Abomination. It's almost if like he was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, like I meant to come sooner" and stuff like that. It's almost if like Abomination, no, we're not really the boss, but as if he was in some important position where he's just like, "You're late, man." And he's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, I was caught up in another TV show, these things." And he's like, "All right, well, okay, well, let's go then. Let's get to work." So I can't wait to see if he's building a team going up against the Thunderbolts, he's helping making it, or if there's some other threat. Is it something to do with Secret Wars? Has Wong caught onto the Skrulls that may or may not be on the planet already, and he's using the Abomination to kind of like target this thing against them? Because I think around this time, the Hulk was off planet, and you need like a brawler in a group. When you're making a group, like if anyone's played RPGs or games, right, you got to have a healer, you got to have a blaster, you got to have a tank, a brawler, and then the Abomination is a tank / like brawler in this thing. You know what I mean? Just like on the Justice League, you got Superman, who's a brawler, he's a puncher. Like, Batman's like the intelligence, he's the whatever. So I think it has something to do with maybe like some of the properties coming up. Maybe it has to do with Secret Wars, and the Abomination is going to play a big role in that.
I mean, before Secret Wars, we got a Secret Wars. We got to worry about Kang. So, I mean, hell, maybe he's, I don't know if he knows anything about Kang, if he's prepping for that. Because obviously, and I think a lot of us have not forgotten about Kang, but they have kind of introduced all these other threats, and Kang has not been the main threat as he was promised to be. But of course, we got Ant-Man, Quantumanium to determine that. And speaking of Ant-Man, did y'all see that GQ magazine of my man Jonathan Majors?
No, Jesus Christ! Yes, it's too much.
It's a problem. Like, I don't know how Ant-Man. I've been saying it for I don't know how long now. I don't know how Ant-Man Coyote is going to be able to handle this man.
This dude he's bigger than freaking Creed,
bro. Where's the damn picture?
Oh wow, yeah, I just saw it.
Look at this. Hold on, let me show.
Crazy.
Look, there's too many women in the chat, man.
I know. I was gonna say, let me get the women excited here. Shout out to the women out in the chat. This is life. This is body goals for me, man. This is come on, man. Shout out to Jonathan Majors, bro. Like, I feel bad for Michael B. Jordan. It's gonna be fighting him in Creed 3. I feel bad for Ant-Man. It's gonna be fighting him next February. I don't know how you can handle this, Coyote. This dude is like built like a tank.
He's about to serve everybody up. He's about to serve everybody up, bro. He's gonna like be. They're gonna do it where a scene where like he's gonna be going into the suit. And people were like, "Oh, he's about to serve everybody up outside the suit." What the hell? What the hell? He don't need that damn suit.
Crazy. Like, what is this workout routine? Like, what is it? Eat, sleep, like dumbbells. Like, what is this man doing, man? Like, this dude is on another level, man. He's a great actor too, but goodness gracious, Chris, Ant-Man's gonna have problems come this February, bro.
Ugh, it's crazy.
Dawson's gonna have some more to be like, "Damn, bro, you ain't gotta do all."
Put your shirt on, man. Why you got your shirt on?
Come out here with the baby oil, making us all look bad. Come on, man.
King a shirt, man. Why is King always coming in here with a shirt off, man?
I didn't think I realized that he was in Creed 3.
Yeah, he's a big. Well, apparently he's. I don't want to say big bad, but he's going to be the who's Adonis is going to be going against. Yeah,
that's a good get. That's a good.
And people are thinking he's Culver Lane's son. So we'll see, which would be kind of repetitive of the last Creed film, but I'm here for it.
I can't wait to see him as King the Conqueror, because I don't know if any of you have seen either a clip from D23.
Chris knows in our little DMs.
I didn't click it. I didn't click it.
Let's say I got a clip of the trailer, Coyote, and myself and Amanda saw it. So yes, I can attest to Kang, and I'm not an Ant-Man fan, but it's looking like it's going to be a problem.
Yeah. I mean, without any spoilers, like Kang's talking to a certain character, and the way he delivers a line, where he's just like, oh, like basically along the lines of, oh, have I handled you already? That's
but
not
when
the
is
line,
it supposed to really come out? That trailer.
The writers or someone on the project said expected by the end of the year, or I'm sorry, expected attached to
Black Panther.
Black Panther. Yep.
That
It
would
comes out in
make
February,
sense.
so they got to roll up it has to come up, by then. So yeah,
That makes
and I
sense.
think
Yeah.
that's gonna be awesome. I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to it.
Yeah,
And yes, shout out
good.
to media here. Yes, bring back Lovecraft Country. I'll never forgive HBO for canceling that show. Such a great show. Lovecraft Country.
Everyone do 200
Bring it
pull-ups tonight.
Right. For
Yeah,
sure.
I mean, I was like, damn, I gotta eat better. I
I
gotta
gotta change my whole life, man. I gotta change my whole
Oh,
life to get
man.
to that Jonathan Majors level. But
Many have to do that.
gentlemen, this has been awesome. Chris, man, I want to take the moment to thank you, man, not only for being with me for these last 9 weeks, but from WandaVision to Low-Key to What If to even that Hawkeye series, man. I appreciate you coming through, showing love and dropping knowledge every single week, man. It means the world to me, bro. So I really appreciate you. And Coyote, man, like I said, you came on last week with fire, bro. So I had to bring you back on, and hopefully we can have you back on in the future to talk more Marvel. Listen, y'all know I bleed DC colors, and I'm hearing some good things about a DC project coming out next week by the name of Black Adam.
Are you though?
Yeah,
I'm hearing some. And Chris, you're in the NY. I know the premiere was yesterday, I think. So there's been some Black Adam good buzz out there in New York City, my friend. I'm very excited to check it out next week. But again, Chris, you're awesome, bro. I appreciate you, Coyote. Definitely got to do more of these in the future. And wrapping it up, gentlemen, just the last thing I want to mention. I know we talked about the legacy of She-Hulk, but Coyote, with you first, where would you place this show amongst the other shows before we wrap things up and pitch where we can find all your content? Where does She-Hulk land on your MCU ranking?
MCU or just MCU shows?
MCU shows. I apologize. MCU shows. Yep.
Okay, MCU shows. Okay. Let's see here. That's kind of tough because I didn't hate it. I thought it was middle of the road. I did laugh sometimes. I thought some of the concepts were pretty interesting. I liked how crazy the ending went. Almost like Jessica Gao went full Rick and Morty writing days, where she was like, okay, here's what we're gonna do. I was writing on Rick and Morty, like, this is my thing. We're gonna go into the universe. We're gonna look at it. We're gonna absolutely take the piss out of it, and I love that aspect of it all. I would say, oh man. I would say maybe above Moon Knight, because Moon Knight, I didn't care for. I would say, well, okay. So my favorite Disney Plus TV show, I would have to say number one, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, followed by WandaVision, then probably Miss Marvel, Low-Key. This is crazy. Tate's like, man, get this guy out of here.
We were doing so good for almost 2 hours.
Moon Knight, I thought was also kind of mediocre. Oscar Isaac did like one of the most best acting jobs he's ever done, but we barely saw the hero. And I'll place Hawkeye last, and then maybe She-Hulk above that. It was second to last.
Gotcha. I was trying to pull up a list while you were going over.
Hard to find a good list.
Yeah. Oh no, okay. Now that I see it, What If is the best. What If is the best one.
I think this is all the shows, right? WandaVision. Yeah. Okay. So, What If is your favorite?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
What If?
And you said Hawkeye's your last.
Yeah. Then Wanda, then Loki, Miss Marvel, then Moon Knight, Hawkeye. Yeah, no, Hulk, then Hawkeye.
Gotcha. Chris, man, where you at with this, man? Is it numero or at the bottom of the barrel?
It's definitely not the bottom. It's definitely not number one. I would have, if I could just quickly in my brain, I'd put WandaVision first, then Loki. Then I would put. And when I'm ranking this, I'm just ranking it as enjoyability. As far as impact to the MCU, She-Hulk is probably last. Or What If is last, but just this, my enjoyment watching the television show and recommending it to other people. I'd put WandaVision, Loki. Maybe I'd have it right in the middle, because Hawkeye's last, but I'd put this above Miss Marvel and above Moon Knight as far as my enjoyment level. I would put Moon Knight above Miss Marvel, and I enjoyed What If. So then maybe What If, maybe we're close to the order. So Falcon maybe is 4, and maybe She-Hulk's 5, and then the rest go.
Nice. Okay. I think I'm close. So Loki forever until we get season 2. Loki number 1, WandaVision 2, Falcon and Winter Soldier 3. Then I would have Moon Knight 4, Miss Marvel 5, She-Hulk 6, What If, and then Hawkeye for me.
Fair.
So I'm rocking.
That's fair.
Cool. And hopefully when we get next spring, Secret Invasion, hopefully that'll blow us all away by how awesome it is. But guys, this has been great. This has been awesome. We're approaching 2-hour mark. I know you guys, Chris got his date with Zazzy. My man Coyote got his a stream he has set up for tonight. So I'm gonna pitch it to you first, Coyote. Where can people find you? Where's your where can they find you tonight when you got your live stream and all that stuff? The stage is yours, man.
Great. Yeah. Also, thank you for having me. You know, it was W stream. Elliot, always good time. Tate, it's always good to hear your takes, man. Even when I was in the chat, you always give some good takes. I like hearing your opinions. I stream normally on Twitch. I might start streaming on YouTube. My YouTube is like getting a lot more hits now, but as Bad Cody Funky everywhere. So I'm on twitch.tv/Bad Cody Funky every Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern at New York time. I also throughout the week will do gaming streams. Like Twitch is more of a longer format, so when you come in, it's more of a hangout. Even if I'm playing games and stuff like that, you know, we can talk about everything, and we talk about a lot of stuff, everything underneath like the geek sun. Like I enjoyed since I was a kid, DC, Marvel, you know, Star Wars, big Star Wars fan, Harry Potter. Like I enjoy a lot, every like geek thing under the sun. I like talking about that. Also talk about video games. Definitely going to be playing God of War on the PS5 when that drops next month. I can't wait for that. I'll probably replay Miles Morales again on the PS5, doing that as well. But yeah, long format. So when the stream goes live tonight at 9 p.m., we're going to be talking about the Andor show, which is on Disney Plus, the Star Wars show. And just so people know, you know, as a Star Wars fan, I can critique Star Wars or things that I like and don't like about it. My stream is a bit wilder. I go a bit crazier. I behave myself when I'm on someone else's channel, but I usually go a bit harder, especially in the podcast post show where we really just start like going at it and just start like full sending on everything. You know, I'll even like talk about like the state of Twitch, certain things that happen on there. You know, like one of the other weeks, we talked about, you know, Call of Duty players, Caucasian players saying the N-word, stuff like that. I kind of, you know, went in on some of that. Yeah, longer format, like come into the chat, like have a good time. We talk about any and everything. I'm down to talk about it. Yeah, talking about Cassian Andor, followed by talking about She-Hulk. But yeah, thank you for having me, guys. Thank you for watching.
Oops, let me get the stream back here. We will definitely have Coyote on in the future to talk some of that that DC and Star Wars and whatnot, and hopefully Marvel come spring. But Chris, man, again, man, these 9 weeks have been great. The past year has been awesome, man, and hopefully we can do more of these in the future, my friend. But stage is yours to plug whatever you want to plug, man. Where can people find your awesome takes on all these great stuff, man?
Yeah, well, first off, Coyote, where are you based out of?
New York.
Oh shit, that's good.
There we go. Hey, link up there.
Look, yeah. I mean, I assuming it's public. Some people, you know, keep a level of anonymity. You know what I'm saying?
I'm on Earth.
Yeah. No, it's all good. Yeah, I'm in New York City as well. So hopefully we get some more of these connections going. But I was excited to you know, log into the chat. I didn't know we are gonna have a guest, so I was like, oh wow, a new person. That's dope. So real cool meeting you, bro. But what am I plugging today? I don't really got nothing to plug, man. I'm plugging MovieFiles, man. Just keep supporting the channel, keep supporting our lives. Like, this is something that I look forward to. I make it a point to, you know, make sure my day can make it work to get this time in, and just talk as we grow as creators. So just shout out to anyone that's still watching the live now, that's been rocking with us weekly. Like, I think it's so dope. I mean, I've got some YouTube things that I watch pretty religiously, so it's just cool to be like a part of something that maybe y'all watch every week. So I'm just so honored, man. Like, I'm just excited to see like where this thing goes. But yeah, shout out to all you guys, Coyote for sure, especially you as a newcomer to the family, and E just for having me on the platform. So that's really it.
Wait, is he really as he beats? You heard it here first, man. It's TMZ News. My man Chris is pulling the baddies out there, man.
Yeah, I told y'all, I know she's with someone, but just you never know what's gonna happen.
Bro, I forgot. It was someone I know on Twitter. Similar situation. They saw her at a coffee shop, and then she took a picture with them, and I was gonna tweet it to you and be like, bro.
And that's crazy because my good boy, he saw her at a coffee shop, probably the same one, and he took a picture from Instagram. I see. And he was like, he was like, yo, is this her? Because he didn't say anything because he was like nervous to like if that was really her. And I'm like, and I'm in the story, like it was like not long after I had saw her, so I was like, she does live here, so it possibly was her.
Coyote, long story short, my man Chris got a chance to meet Zazie Beetz in person and watched the stream last week. Last 10 minutes, he filled us in on one of the coolest stories. Really dope story. So
come back and see us the next live. You get another random story. I always got a couple.
Right. Okay. Well, next time we see Chris, we're gonna see Zazie Beetz walking in the background.
Nah, but if I pulled up with her on the live though, oh my god, y'all be like,
yo, that'd be gas.
I'll be like, yo, what's going on with this?
It's all good
out here. But look, man, this is such an honor again to be able to chop it up with you all today. And again, shout out to Chris and Coyote and everyone in the chat. Like, share, comment, subscribe. You can find all their links in the description of this video, and you can find me later tonight talking Atlanta, episode 6. We'll be talking more about, guys, do stay as far away from Halloween Ends as possible. The film is trash. And we got many more things coming. House of Dragons this Sunday, so on and so forth. So with that being said, for myself, Chris, and Coyote, you guys have been awesome, and we will catch you on the